Cool.
Yeah.
All right. We are
You finished
going.
Oshinoko, or you're caught up, right?
Yeah, we are going
Cool.
to. I think we're starting. I think we have started this stream, this podcast of the greatest
Cool.
podcast on earth.
Somebody saying we're late when we're on time is crazy, bro.
Yeah,
That's actually nuts.
guys, how
Because
many
we don't do
times
that.
do I have to, tell drill this lesson into you? We are always on time. There's just a little bit of a lag between when we start streaming and when you start seeing it. That's it. All right. So I feel as
So
though we're
actually,
owed an
y'all are kind of
apology.
responsible for getting early, like,
Yeah.
because that's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on?
It's like this.
Don't blame us for
Yeah.
your hastiness.
Yeah.
Like, we get it, we get it. You want to listen to us talk, but geez, man,
Exactly.
you guys got to calm down.
Bro, like this seems like forward this complaint to your to YouTube, like we're the most punctual podcast on earth. Never been late. Period.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yep.
The Funny Ones
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
podcast is funnier. Thank you for that. I always said, we were the funniest podcast on earth too. We got a lot of titles. We just chose honored ones because it kind of fit everything together.
It encapsulates a lot of things. You know what I mean? It's very it's very vibe friendly.
Exactly.
But yeah. Yeah.
So pretty chill episode, I think. I don't know about you, but I thought this chapter was fire. I'll explain why when we get to JJK, but kind of optimistic about that conversation. We're gonna have My Hero. We might talk about the book club results. Members, that is live. If you guys want to go and vote for that or finish voting for that. If not, at least half of you, we'll delay it until like Thursday stream, and then we'll announce it sort of there. But for now, we have 57 votes, and look, chat.
Is it looking close?
It is not looking close. Okay, what is close? Like, give me what you think.
I mean, are they within 10% of each other?
It is not close.
Yeah.
Look, chat. Before I even show BR the results, because I'm gonna start there, and then we'll decide on air if we want to like divulge it. This is Eden Zero's last thing here.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Don't tell me, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Don't tell me, bro. Holy shit.
Bro, look.
Yikes. I mean, hold on. So let's assume everyone voted for Eden Zero right now. They could swing it, right? Like, they could.
Like, if the next 8 to 10 members voted Eden Zero, I think we could get that up to a tie. And if 12 people do it, it could win by a narrow margin.
Yeah, interesting. That's something, man. That's something.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
You're seeing it, right?
With Eden Zero like that, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, Fist of the North Star this is not its poll at all. Single digits still. No. That's wild.
That shit got to get dropped out of there. If it's getting bodied by basically the rejects, unfortunately, I fear no one wants to see us read that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
So wow.
It's time to pack the polls.
I mean, that's what the anime Jimger, I think I'm saying it right. Anime Jimger is doing. Yeah, bro just gifted 5 subs. We appreciate you. And to all the new members, you can go and vote for the Honored Ones book club poll just to decide what we read next.
We got Freeren, Dorohedoro, Eden Zero, and Fist of the North Star as options for this go around. So very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah.
Kishkin, thank you for being a member for 3 months. Now screw that Dorohedoro sweep.
All right. I mean, it's looking like you're about to get what you want. I'm gonna be honest with you. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Oshinoko is the only time chat ever, or I guess our audience really, Honored Ones, shorthand, ever beat the Senin allegations. I don't know why Oshinoko was the one, but it was triumphed over everything.
Hold on, let me see if Oshinoko is the Senin or Shonen. Let me see. I think it's a seinen manga.
Thank you for being a member for 3 months, Liv. Proud of you for finally pronouncing Jimjer's name right. Plus 5 points, Creams. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for your to speak, but I'll vote Doro just to keep Eden Zero from winning again.
Oh my
Jesus Christ.
god, bro.
Y'all are some haters, man.
Bro.
I respect it though. Like I respect it. You don't want something to show up, and you do everything in your power to make sure it doesn't. I respect the hate. That's crazy for all the people that like Eden Zero, but I respect the hate. Um,
Damn, bro. Like,
yeah.
uh, Jimger's Gambit did not. Jimger's Gambit did not work because the gap widened even more. Oh my god. I think we're just gonna have to announce the winner here. I don't know. It's on 63 votes right now. Let's give it to the end of stream. But for right now, wow, guys, you
Yeah,
is it
real.
is it
That's real hate for real.
is it for the bit? Is it not liking Eden Zero genuinely? Like what is? I am so curious about what the motivation is at this point.
Yeah,
Like, when will
very
Eden Zero
interesting.
see its time in the sun, man?
Never on this podcast. Like, if it loses here, I'm never reading that. I hope y'all know that. That's it. It's just over. This, like, I'm gonna be real. Eden Zero gotta win here. That shit ain't showing up for a couple of years, bro. Cause like, why? You, nah, it won't work. Unfortunately, it's just not happening. Um, I'm afraid that if Creams reads Dorohedoro, he may become more intense in some of his less acceptable traits as a member of
Of
society.
course, you're
Are
reading
you
that
saying
one.
this is gonna turn him into a delinquent? Um, fair
M3D,
enough,
thank you for the
bro.
5. Takaba really might get an extended fight. Meanwhile, Gege only let Kashimo rock for 45 seconds before having Sukuna send him to a Pop Smoke concert.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, I think we said it last week. It'll be wild if Gege actually makes Takaba versus Kenjaku longer than Kashimo versus Sukuna. But I should have known that Gege he does the funniest possible option, especially now. And damn, bro, like wrong 2 weeks in a row. Like that's a rare, unbelievably rare. Like Master Ball RC is kind of rare. L for me.
Roasted rare. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Who cares? Let's see. The anime Ginger, thank you for the 5. Hey guys, is a new color page of Yuta, Hikari, Maki, and Yuji foreshadow them transcending special grade like Gojo wanted?
Oh
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I think the words just say stronger and smarter allies or
yeah.
something,
Like
and
based
that's
on
like
that
just a direct
thing. Yeah,
callback to what he said.
yeah.
So
Which
yeah.
was also like, I want to talk about that image for a second because I think it's actually a pretty good little conversation here.
Mhm.
Seeing Gege color everything was really interesting because I think we were all curious what it looked like. The weird fins on Yuji's arms, like what they looked like,
Mhm.
in color. And I don't know if this helped or hurt the speculation or theories going around. I just kind of looked at it. I was like, it's red. Why is it red? Like,
I mean, what other color would it be?
I just thought it was like fleshy and bony, if that makes sense. But
Yeah,
like,
but like red's fleshy. Like red's a very fleshy color. You know what I
you
mean?
know what I mean? Like not.
The close the only other color it could be if you wanted it to be fleshy is pink, which
Mm-hmm.
like pink and red are cousins. You know what I mean?
I think for me,
They siblings for real.
the whole nail thing with Sukuna, when Sukuna was in Yuji. Uh,
Yeah.
so I was thinking it was gonna look like that minus like the tattoos. And instead of the tattoos, it was like some other pattern or artifact. Um,
Mm.
but I don't know. I don't mind the way it looks. I just find it. Uh, it's curious. What did you think of it?
The color page in general or Yuji's arm?
Both.
Um, Yuji's arm looked cool to me. I thought it was sick. Um, the color page is cool. I don't want to hate too much. I the color page is cool. Like these are the four we currently like these are currently our four heaviest like hitting allies. That makes sense. It serves its function there. Um I think if Gege was trying to make them all look like kind of badass, we might need to like get back to the drawing board, but I mean, you know, It's fine. It's not like it's non-offensive. You know what I mean? It's a
Mm,
not offensive colored page.
okay.
Gege's done better, but he's probably also done worse. Just knowing who I'm talking about here. Um, yeah. Let's see. He who is him. Thank you for the 5. Angel is confirmed. Evil Zoro is the One Piece. What?
What? Angel is evil
Angel is
confirmed.
evil confirmed. Zoro is the One Piece. Hey, bro,
Uh,
decipher that. That's your people.
uh, I I think it's supposed to like the joke is supposed to be two ridiculous theories from two different mangas, but I'm just speculating on that.
All right, bro. Fair enough. Fair enough. Nerillion Joseph, thank you for the 5. Hey, BR, I know you want Megumi and Yuji to fight Sukuna, but how will that fight happen and whose body will he fight them in? So I have two responses for you. One is like the one I gave in the video, which is just like a body and soul fight, kind of like happening in tandem. And then the second answer is, I don't know. Like, I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this, right? I knew, in quotations, Sukuna would beat Gojo, but I didn't know how, right? I didn't know the mechanism of which it would happen. I just wager that it is going to take place. So the exact, I don't know. Gege does so much shit like bringing up new stuff that like I'm gonna be honest. This is why like theorizing is cool. Theorizing specific methods of which things are gonna happen is something that I wouldn't say I'm not necessarily a fan of. It's just not something I'm good at, right? Like if you were to tell me, yeah, okay, so what's gonna happen is Sukuna is going to figure out Maharaga's adaptation process, replicated to then cut through space, infinity, and the world, or whatever. I'd say you're huffing some serious shit, right?
Yeah.
But if you were to say Sukuna would be Gojo, I'd be like, well, duh, right? That's what's gonna
So
happen.
like the
So
the
it's
result is not the mechanism kind of thing. I got you.
yeah, like the result, the outcome that is desired, and I speculate on is Yuji and Megumi are probably going to fight against Sukuna. In terms of how that's going to happen, I leave that to God. Like I don't like one, I don't know if it will happen for sure. I think it will, but two, even if I was with 100% certainty knowing that it would come to pass, I seriously would have no way of even remotely guessing like the mechanisms of which Megami could fight or Yuji could blah 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 blah, right? I know that like Yuji and Gojo and like everybody seems to have some sort of semblance of an idea of the possibility of saving Megami, right? But I don't know how. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea. So yeah. Let's
Mm.
see.
M3D, thank you for the 5. I'm gonna need next week's chapter to start off with Takaba waking up next to Dave Chappelle and being asked how it was versus the king of comedy. Hold up. So in this like parallel, right? Takaba is like the Gojo of comedy. Like he was the one that, like got too strong. Like his comedic career just took off, and his former comedic partner was Dave Chappelle, and he just like completely outshined him. That's
Hey, man,
you know
maybe, man.
M3D.
I
This is
don't know.
unironically, I think a Takaba level joke. I just hilarious, man.
Don't do him like that, bro. Don't do him like that.
I'm
You're better
actually
than that,
laughing.
M3D.
What is going on? That was a real
You're better
laugh.
than that.
Ugh.
No, no. I'm saying when I'm saying don't do him like that, I'm not saying don't laugh. I'm saying don't. It's not a talkable level joke. I'm saying he's better than that, bro. Like don't do our guy like that. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, actually, you be hating on making me, but I still got more respect for you than that. So like, yeah, appreciate you.
Uh,
Mozane, I think with a 5. You don't think Higuruma could change the conditions of his domain from learning from Gojo versus Sukuna to strip Sukuna of Megami as a vessel as a consequence? I mean, that probably I like okay, I put it like this. It is like to Higuruma and Hakari, it is weird to not be able to like morph your domain on the fly.
mm,
Like so much so that when they say that it is a strange thing, they're like, what are you talking about? Like that's just what we do. That's just like, and Kusakabe, I think, clarifies that the only reason they can do that with such ease is because their domains are like
part
a
of the
very
technique.
small
Yeah.
extension of their techniques, right? It's much simpler for them than like to morph assure it. So I don't know to what extent he can change it. I don't know if he can change like the rules or conditions or like the criteria or what's being wagered. But if anybody can do it, I would imagine Higuruma and like as a result, Hakari probably would be able to do something along those lines.
Mm, yeah. Um, I think I just agree with you. Um,
Yeah.
I would like to say though, the motivation behind it could be Higuruma's whole taking notes thing, because technically Sukuna's already seen Higuruma's domain and how it functions when he was in Yuji. So I don't think that Higuruma wouldn't know that going into this, unless it's one of unless Gege pulls another one of those uh I don't even what's the he doesn't have an open barrier domain, like them not telling Gojo about Sukuna's open barrier domain slash Kenjaku's open barrier domain, or the fact that they even exist, right? Because I was like, oh, it's so
Mhm.
obvious that Gojo would know that going in because of how many witnesses saw these things, but no, just never did. So I could just be wrong about that, and just
I mean, the thing about like Sukuna's whole domain thing is right. Like the biggest problem is like clashing. If Higuruma gets off the domain with no opposition, they just like and maybe this will age poorly, right? But just based on what we know now, there's no way Sukuna's getting like he has too many
mm,
objectively documented crimes. Like what Yuji gets the death penalty for in the Higuruma fight is what Sukuna actually did. You have so many crimes that you can nail him for, man. I'm like,
yeah. I
and some of it,
wonder
and a lot of the shit isn't like trespassing; it's mass
murder,
murder.
yeah.
What are we doing?
But you think Judgment always starts out with like a softball one, like the whole pachinko machine thing, or do you think it's like the least
I don't know,
egregious
man.
crime in your repertoire? Because I feel like if Sukuna just like did shoplifting one time, Judgment's like, well, I got to start somewhere.
But I think the thing is like with Yuji, it took that the initial crime because that was a crime Yuji actually committed, right?
Right.
Judgment then like is like you killed people in Shibuya, but Higuruma makes like mentions that like no, that's not really the case. Like by the law, that's not what happened. Judgment was grasping at straws, likely because Yuji is not like a pretty big massive criminal or evil person. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like going into a pachinko parlor underage is probably for Yuji one of the worst things that he's done. Whereas with Sukuna, it's like, oh, I killed a person. Okay, when was that?
Who?
Like what day?
Yeah.
Like yeah, who? What? When? When? What? Hmm. Um. Maybe. I mean, like I believe you. You said I killed someone. Probably. Did I kill him that day? Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Uh,
I just kind of felt like it.
Statistically speaking, I probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Sukuna would be like a good. I think he's like Judgment bait, more than anything. But whether like how Judgment can give him consequences is, I think, an entirely separate discussion.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Is that? Yeah, that's all super chats. So
Yeah.
I don't think there was a blue lock this week. Unless
No.
okay, cool, cool.
It went on a sporadic break.
So you know what that means? My Hero Academia. I'm gonna give my thoughts on Oshinoko, and we'll get into JJK. So My Hero Academia. I saw you and Mikey going at it on Twitter. Not even going at it, but like agreeing with each other very affectionately on Twitter. About like My
Mhm.
Hero Academia's, the revision
It's my best
conversation.
friend for real. Yeah.
Well, that's a little hurtful, but whatever. So the My Hero Academia revision conversation we had on the podcast last week, I didn't know it left
hmm
that big of an impression on you, bro. Like I didn't know you were like stewing on it, or like marinating on it.
You're putting the cart before the horse. That's not no. It dredged up something that has plagued me for much longer than that conversation.
Okay, go on.
Yeah,
The soapbox is yours.
I've been a like God Horikoshi could have written the best thing ever if
Mm-hmm.
he did this, this, and this merchant forever, right? When you said what would you change about my hero or whatever, I didn't think anything new. I simply you simply opened that door that I had closed and locked off. So like
Welcome, or I'm sorry,
yeah, I
depending on
guess.
how this
I don't know.
goes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't really mind. It hasn't really stuck with me. I think Mikey was like it was kind of in his mind for a little bit, and we were going kind of going back and forth about execution and shit like that. But I think this chapter is like very fine. Um, on like on a I mean, it's just a fine chapter. I think the thing me and Mikey generally agreed on is that like this could have hit a lot harder, but within the scope of this chapter in an isolated sense,
I
I
thought,
don't think there's much more Horikoshi could have done.
yeah, I mean, I
I think
thought it was like I'll put it like this, right? I didn't have this like apocalyptic depression spiral that I think you and Mikey had. Maybe because I have like less stock in My Hero Academia's what if emotionally because I gave up on it like being that series a while ago. But I kind of liked the chapter. I don't know, man. Like seeing Bakugo come back and smiling was sick. Seeing All Might give him the little thing, the inner Night Eye telling him, "Bro, this isn't a comic book. Like you can just live." I thought that shit was cool.
That is kind of some. Never mind. I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep. Listen, I think the chapter is fine in isolation. The only thing, the thing I think holds it back is something that's unfair to judge this specific chapter on, and it's just there's just not enough like I think quality connections between like Bakugo, Deku, and like All Might. Like that whole dynamic is written to me like very one-sidedly. Granted, in Bakugo's favor,
Mm.
but like a lot of the things like I said, in isolation they're very good. Like if you were able to just take these individual chapters and like extract them for all of the writing juice that they have, they'd be cool, but that's not really how stories work, right? So like this moment means a lot because of the background shit. And like if you really rocked with like Bakugo and his whole dynamic with Deku and like All Might and how that's been leading up to this, then this will hit really hard for you, right? This will be very cool. But if you're someone that's probably more on like the me and Mikey side of it, and you think that like it's solid, it's not bad, it's just somewhat lacking in certain areas. So the conclusion can only be as good as the buildup, right? It's still good. Like chapter is still fine. It's still a good chapter, but like if all of the building blocks leading up to it were okay, right? The foundation's made out of like fucking mud. Yeah, you can put a gold plate at the top. Like cool, I guess. Well, what's that mean to me though? You know what I mean? So that's all it is. It's not really like I don't know about Mikey. I don't think he was either. It's not like I wasn't depressed about it. The
Yeah,
chapter
I
was
mean,
fine.
look, I
It's
can.
just when you think about like ah that could have hit harder for me. You know what I
Mm,
mean? That's all it
gotcha.
is.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like speaking for
Mm.
Mikey, I think he would agree.
Yeah, it's nothing so deep as like lamenting over the lost potential of my hero. At least not right then and there. It's just like you just click your teeth. You're just like, damn, that could have been
That could have been better,
that
or
could have
that could
done
have
more.
been amazing.
That could have moved me.
So,
Like I
okay,
could have been.
let
Yeah,
me know if this
that's all it is.
accurately describes it, right? It was really good, but
Mm.
it could have been phenomenal.
Yeah, basically, and it has nothing to do with the chapter. Everything in this chapter, isolated, is good. It's stuff throughout the entire series, right? This part is fine. It's stuff before it that makes it like unable to fulfill that potential, right? Horikoshi did his thing here. He just hasn't consistently done his thing in the past, which makes this fall flatter, right? So like, let's take a character. Who's a character you feel pretty neutral towards in like JJK, for example?
Like major character, like to scale. Okay, okay.
Any character.
Um, God, neutral character, I guess. No.
Even you can somewhat like them. Like you just don't love them, right? They're okay, they're cool, they're whatever.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say okay, Nobara. That
Okay,
was yeah.
oh, cool. If Nobara's like that for you, right? She comes back. She fucking, you know, she like resonances Kenjaku. He's near death or some shit, right? And she has like this nothing else. Like there's nothing else for you, right? Character wise, from what you think about her now to this moment, is that gonna hit as hard as if it was like, say, fucking I don't know, Yuji or whatever other characters you like, aside from Gojo and Yuji, or I guess Akari. You like Akari? Sorry, I'm just trying to imagine these characters in like a similar role. But like, I think the thing is like if you don't rock with the character's build up, no matter how good that one chapter is, it's like, well, the found if the foundation is shaky for you, so is the conclusion. That's all it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I get it that way. I'm not saying I didn't get it before, but I like I said, I think I just emotionally got over My Hero Academia's quote unquote lost potential a while ago. So now I'm just sort of
Mhm.
riding the vibe of the week to week.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Uh,
Sleeping Danger. Thank you for the 14. Which series had the most potential? My Hero, Black Clover, or JJK?
well, I mean, JJK
Um,
is. I feel like it's just living up to its potential mostly. Um, I like the only thing I would change, like from what we said last week in our conversation, was just adding length to it, telling Gege to slow his roll, that kind of thing. Um,
Yeah. Um,
but it's not like,
like,
how do I phrase it? My Hero, I guess, wins this implicitly because I feel like it's the only one of these series that I think the manga's health is clearly something that you're losing something from it, whereas Black Clover just seems to be like following Takaba's intended vision despite the hiatuses and stuff to his health that it's been taking, right? I
mhm.
think, relatively speaking, he's just been doing it the way he wants to since like day one. Um, and JJK is just, yeah, like I said, it's mostly living up
my
to his
order,
potential. Yeah.
my order would be JJK, MHA, Black Clover from like most potential to least potential. That's how I'd rank it personally. Um, And then as for, I think some chats said like we think we can write My Hero better. So I don't know if you watched the last episode, but we like pretty explicitly over and over said we can't because we're not like
Yep.
professional writers. But what we are saying is that like we know what we think would be better, right? And the only way you can assess potential and shit like that is based on like some sort of metric you're giving yourself and like abiding by, and then like comparing a series to those metrics or standards or whatever, right? So like, am I Horikoshi? Could I ever in a million years write My Hero as good as him? Probably not. Like, I'm just not a professional writer. That's just
Mm,
not my gift. That's not my craft, right?
mm,
But like in the same way, you would be well within your right to be like, hey, Ronan, this YouTube video can probably be better. Although most likely you've never made a YouTube video in your life, right? Is there some level of deference, whatever,
mm.
that you'd have to give to the person that has experience? Sure, 100%, right? If Horikoshi was like, no, this makes sense for this, and this, hey man, you have the pen, not me, right?
Right.
But like, I think I generally disagree with the notion that like if you aren't in that field, you cannot give like critique or criticism. Like I find it a pretty lazy defense of something. Like, oh, you think this cake tastes bad? You bake it then. It's like, no, motherfucker, I'm not saying I can bake the cake, but I know what a good fucking cake tastes like. You know what I mean? That's all
Mm.
it is. That's how I feel about it, at least.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Uh,
All that being said, solid My Hero chapter. You know what I
what
mean?
would you
Like,
give
not
it?
bad.
Yeah, like
I,
after
I
all
give it like
that.
a 7.5. I give it like a 7.5. That's solid.
Yeah, I was gonna give it like an 8. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Um, cool.
Yeah.
Let's see, let's see,
Yeah.
let's see. Oh, Oshinoko. So finished it up. You know, nipped it in the bud. Shot it, directed it, edited it. I don't know why I'm going this hard. Um, how do I phrase this? So the obvious stuff being obvious, I just want to quickly get it out of the way, right?
Mhm.
Boy howdy is it hard sometimes. Like it's not as often as I thought it would be for the rest of the series, thank God, but mamma mia, when it's there, it is. I don't know about you, and tell me if I'm mistaken here, right? It's not just that they're siblings, right? It's the fact that they're like previous inhabitants, right? Like the bodies they currently occupy, right? Their consciousness, their previous owners or whatever. Their connection also freaks me out. Like,
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Them being siblings is creepy, but it is the least bad part of that whole
right?
fucking
Okay,
shitstorm.
yeah.
Like,
So like for yeah, okay. I just wanted to like make sure we were on the same page with it because I'm like, yeah, no, the sibling thing is like the third one on my list of like things I find wrong with this dynamic.
dude, one of them, the doctor is 35, at least in his old body, and like the girl was like 16. Like, what do
Okay,
we?
yeah.
Like, yeah,
So
that is much more of a pressing issue to me than like the
okay,
fucking the
cool.
reincarnated sibling thing. I don't know.
Thank you. Okay, because like that's how I felt. I just wasn't sure if I was prioritizing the correct thing. I will say like the passive commentary slash explanations on the entertainment industry, at least in Japan, idols and how all those work,
Uh-huh.
was really cool. I found it really engaging. I found all the characters to be charming. Asterisk asterisk.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, solid 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Not you. Cool, cool. Yeah. I would probably parrot similar things. I think it's a really good, entertaining, um, sort of story. So yeah, I'm locked in for it. I'm locked in for it. Yeah, yeah. The biggest problem with the series is that it's a reincarnation story. I'm telling you, man, you can reincarnate to like fucking teenage age
Yeah,
random kids, and that shit just works.
yeah.
Like
But
you do
also,
need some sort of like for like connection. But like you don't. I mean, you're a writer, you're God in that universe. You can make some shit up.
yeah.
It
But
didn't have
you
to
know,
necessarily be like that.
like also you can just I don't know. I'm a like isekai. I'm an isekai guy apparently. All right, I've just been. I just gotta be my true self here. I'm an isekai fan. I know. Forgive me. So I was much more um malleable, like receptive to like the reincarnation bit, right? Uh,
Mm.
I did think the timelines were a little bit off and their connection was crazy. And also like what he chooses to do with that connection, it just it's just a lot, man. It's not the reincarnation that's the problem. It's like everything he does after the problem is the problem, right? Like that's I think what we're getting at.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a solid story otherwise. Like it is a very like I think like well told, interesting, like sort of dramatic type of story. And I can't hate on that aspect of it at least. I can't
Mm,
hate on the other parts.
yeah.
Um
So
yeah.
what was it for you
Yeah,
again?
yeah, yeah.
Like an 8.59? Like also?
Yeah, an eight and a half, yeah.
Cool, cool.
Yep, yep,
So
yep.
yeah, that's fun. Well, let me do I mean speaking of book club, let's check in here on our poll. Just little half stream update here. 66 votes, and if y'all want to keep eating zero on here, bro, y'all got to fight way harder.
They don't, bro. Like I think we just need to get that through there.
Mm,
All right, they don't. They do not want to see that shit.
yeah. Anyway,
Because that's what it sounds like to me, bro.
I mean, Loki, just this is what its fifth or sixth time on this poll.
Yeah. But hey, man, not every manga is meant to be read. You know, well, that's a crazy saying, but whatever. I must stick by it. Not every manga is meant to be read, bro. You know, sometimes they're just meant to be on the poll to lose. You know, there has to be a loser for everything. Eden Zero just happened to be
I don't
the
even think
biggest
it's the
one.
loser. I think it just keeps getting like runner up every single time.
Hey, bro, if you're not first, you're last, or whatever somebody once said. But yeah. Are they gonna add Oshinoko to the weekly talk? Probably not. Oshinoko is not the type of series I want to read weekly.
No,
I'm gonna be
I
honest,
don't know if
right?
it's the one I wanted to
I don't want to
discuss
read
weekly.
I don't want to read most manga weekly, right? Like I don't want to read Blue Lock weekly anymore. Not because Blue Lock's not good on a weekly basis, because like it's like because Blue Lock's too good to not binge. Like if it were possible to somehow do my job, show up to the podcast, and not read JJK on a weekly basis, trust me, that fucking that Gojo versus Sukuna binge that first go around would be crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just not feasible to avoid spoilers, somehow make videos on the topics, and show up to the podcast without knowing what I'm talking about, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that'd be a little wild, a little impossible, a little infeasible. So you know, I kind of forced to do that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, I will be right back before we get into sorcery fight. So BR's gonna
yeah, yeah,
hold it
yeah,
down. Yeah.
yeah. Real Truth by FF. You mean Fire Force? Because calling Fire Force the most underrated anime and manga of all time is a crazy take, brother. It's a solid manga. Most underrated. That's only if you're talking about Fire Force. You could I don't know if you're talking about something else. Because like there are many manga I've read that are like less talked about and more interesting than Fire Force, if I can be honest. I love reading weekly manga. Gives me a break to theorize. I fuck with that. I fuck with that. You on Mama Yu Yu? I am not. I've heard really good things about it. I just have not like picked it up. I just haven't taken the time to actually get into it. Um, yeah. Let's see. BR, congrats on the million view video. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Ronan, what do you think of the new Sakamoto Days chapter? I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I think it's solid. I'm like this arc is shaping up to like unfold very intensely and nicely. I'm locked in for it. I'm locked in for it. I'm locked in for it. Let's see. BR, what do you have cooking for AOT and how much will I hate it? I'm gonna be honest, bro. If you're an AOT fan, when the anime drops, just block me or mute me or something. Because like I think initially what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go into like an AOT hate retweet blitz because I gotta test the waters. You know what I mean? The first thing I need to do just to make sure like I don't get like doxed and murdered is like I gotta retweet a few like AOT sucks, Aaron's the worst main character in existence, AOT ended like shit. I gotta retweet a couple of those like bot account tweets just to test what the vibe is. Cause like the more down the collective Twitter community is with AOT hate, the more locked into my hating game that I am, bro. Because like I'm just thinking about it like this. I'm just thinking about it like this. AOT fans have had too much weaponry for too long, bro. It's time to strike back. And it's not even gonna be like serious slander. I just gotta get some hate off, bro. That's all it is. But yeah, AOT greater than Blue Lock. That is probably the worst take that anybody could ever give in their lives. Next question. Getting doxxed and murdered over AOT is crazy. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. You gotta lock in. This Attack on Titan shit gets serious. You're really plotting strategic AOT hate, bro. That I'm saying, bro. You gotta lock in. You gotta lock in. Let's see. Going to swing against the AOT fans is a risky play. It would be, right? It would be. I agree. But here's the thing. It's AOT's ending, and I won't spoil it for people that aren't familiar, right? But I'll just play it like this. It's very controversial. It's able to split people down the middle, right? It's able to split people down the middle. So if I can just lock in and I can retweet a few hate accounts, a few, oh my god, this character sucks, or oh my god, this is the worst character in existence, blah 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 blah, right? I can really surround myself with like-minded Attack on Titan extraordinaire haters. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at, bro.
You know, it's so I've never seen somebody so committed to wanting smoke while simultaneously like adding distance. Like bro, just get up on your soapbox and say, I hate AOT. Here is my home address. Come get me if you have a problem about it.
List out the One Piece YouTubers you hate right now.
All right, fair. But you know what? No, not fair. Hold on. I'm famously, creams. So that this I gotta pass on
A
that.
loser? A bum?
What about you, bro? What about you? What happened to Broken Ronin?
Me?
What happened to Shattered Samurai, bro? Like, what happened to the guy? What happened to the guy who has a sword mounted on his wall? Huh?
Mounted on my dresser, but it's not on my wall. It's just like sitting on a stand. So, point invalid. Said the wrong vernacular when referring to my decorative blade. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like, listen, bro. Like, I'm antagonistic. I'm not dumb, right? Like, in order for the hate to be funny, I have to survive. So I have to be strategic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to make sure I hate in steps. I have to make sure I hate in phases. That's all it is. Do you hate AOT or just the whole story? Do you hate the whole AOT story or just the ending? I don't hate AOT generally, right? Now, before people start pulling out my fucking 3 out of 10 Annie list AOT ranking, right? That's not really serious. If I wanted to like fucking if like I gave my genuine opinion on AOT, it would probably be like a smack 5. And the reason it's a 5 is because like I'm just indifferent towards it. I watched I think the first 3 seasons kind of like pretty casually with it on, and I read the manga up until it ended because it came out I think monthly or something. So the same way I do like Boruto or like Dragon Ball Super, it would I know it would come out, I'd read it, I'd put it down, not think about it again until my friends start talking about it the next month and I read it again. Like I am very indifferent towards AOT, all things considered. However, because of that indifference, I also find it extremely hilarious to joke about it being ass. Like that's all it is, bro. Like that is literally like y'all underestimate the boredom of a human being. I don't hate AOT. I'm honestly someone who thinks that AOT ending haters are big fucking babies, right? That being said, I'm going to be aligning with those big fucking babies the moment they're actually on my side. Like the moment I can just blend into the crowd, like just like fucking Assassin's Creed, just blend in, right? Just walk amongst the normal people. You best believe I'm throwing a couple of tomatoes.
Oh my god.
Because it's funny, bro. Like I try to like listen, believe it or not, sometimes it's just funny to slander shit. Like that's all it is. I don't really care about AOT that much. So it's just mid to you. It's mid not because like I've thoroughly evaluated it and decided it's mid. It's mid because like I haven't like I've watched it very casually. I've watched it with like no particular care to get into it deeply. That's all it is. Um, if I watched or reread AOT seriously, maybe I'd fucking fall in love with it. I just don't really care to right now. It's just not on my. It's not like loving AOT is not on the top of my like agenda list. Hitting out of boredom is so real. I'm glad I got some fellow haters in there, bro. Cause like listen, if you here's an opinion I have, and we can drop it to JJK. If you cannot hate on something for fun, right? Or you can't let hate slide or like fight hate with hate, like in a joking, slanderous way, obviously. I think you might need to like loosen up like by like just a quarter of a turn, just a quarter of a lefty loosey turn. Cause like, listen, bro, you gotta just be able to roll with the punches. That's all it is. That's all it is. And in this case, an AOT ending, it's my time to start throwing them motherfucking hooks. That's all I'm saying. That's all it is. That's all it is, bro. I hate on MHA for fun. You get it.
You. Dude, AOT is so okay that it's. I don't know, man. You know what? No, I do know. I feel similar about Demon Slayer. I'm gonna let you rock with that.
Ooh, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
Mm.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. You saying that AOT is like Demon Slayer is probably as slanderous as anything that I could come up with.
That's not what I said, but you know, feel
I mean, you said
look.
you said you feel similarly about them, right?
Yes. No, I feel similarly to you. Like AOT to you is Demon Slayer to me.
Okay, okay. Yeah, got you. Got you. I'm a One Piece fan in secret, but in the streets I'm a hater. I can understand why you'd want to hide being a One Piece fan. I get that. I get that. So the
Um,
best way to put it is that AOT is simply not for you. I mean, I
Actually, you know
guess.
what?
I
You know what, Sleeping Danger? Let me give you a little. Let me give you a little secret, right? The One Piece fan base is super easy to be in if you don't have theories. Stay out of it. Stay out of that. Look, I used to do
if
theories
you
really
don't
hard,
talk
right?
about One Piece,
Look, I'm a
you can enjoy it.
look. I'm a recovering One Piece theorist, right? I used to get really into the weeds with them, and I've had to take a step back and reevaluate because it was getting bad for my health, right? Stay away from that. It's really nasty. You'll get hooked on it, and it doesn't have a good return on investment. You will find yourself becoming the thing you hate, right? It's like becoming a vampire. That's what it's like, right? Stay away. Just stay away from it. Just I don't know, and
Yeah,
you'll
like
have a much better
so
time.
some people seem confused, like, but y'all gotta get it right. The funny part of slandering is getting a reaction. For me, it's getting a reaction from people that I know like the thing. So like, if Mikey or Doofy like AOT, it is funny to hate and rile them up. In the same way that I've seen a couple of fucking JJK hate tweets from Doofy, and I'm like, wow, you got me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm upset now. Now I'm upset, and
Yeah.
it's funny. Like
I mean,
that's all it is. Like
right.
I
I
I
was
I talk more about One Piece than I normally would because I know a lot of people around me like One Piece. Like, come on now, bro. Sanji trash. That's all it
uh,
is.
shut the
Um,
fuck
but
up,
yeah.
dude. Oh my god.
See,
Okay.
look at. Do you get it, chat? Do you like that's what I live for. That reaction, that negative feedback, that immediate knee jerk reaction to defend a character you like. I love the game. I love the hustle.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
Mm-hmm.
what you're here for, man.
Yep.
Also, Landa, I almost banned you for the bleach straight. I'm gonna be honest. You compare. Never mind. I can't say what I want to say. But yeah, I'll let you cook.
Uh, anyway,
Bro gets bored and starts Toji versus greater than Maki combos with me. But yeah,
damn.
that's yeah,
I
yeah.
live
You know what? I'm gonna say. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say you're right. I only do that because I'm bored. I don't actually think that. Wink, wink, nudge,
live
nudge.
live.
Um,
You can you said a whole like used a whole lot of letters just to say he's a misogynist. You can just be honest about it. It's
you
BR.
like Maki
Like
more than Toji for real? Like as a character?
don't don't do that. Don't.
I'm just no. I'm curious. I'm curious because like obviously like I know you're joking about the misogyny thing, but I'm curious. Like you're saying that, so I imagine you think
I
Maki over
thought
Toji
I
character.
assumed it was a power scale thing. I was like, damn.
You assume the guy who made a video called Maki's equal to Toji, deal with it, think that Toji's stronger.
I don't recall
Yeah,
that video.
you're not a smart guy. You a bit of a dum dum, I fear. Um,
I love hating
let's
when it's
see.
not me. Sleeping Danger. You just. Mm, mm. Creams forgets Maki's and JJK 99% of the time.
I mean, that's true.
You know what, Liv? Never mind. I tried to do a little baton pass. Nah.
Bro said he was trying to pander. That's crazy.
Party's over.
That's
All right. BR, one day I'll explain my very neutral stance on Bleach.
Fuck your neutral stance on Bleach. If you don't like it, you hate it,
Also,
and that's crazy.
Landa, I know your stance on Bleach. That shit is not neutral.
Yeah, that's some hating. That's like saying I'm a neutral person on One Piece. Like, I don't care what my ratings say. Well, fuck. Like, if all you got to say is negative shit, you hate it, and that's okay. Just stand on it. You forget I've been baptized through fire, just like Maki for real. But yeah,
that's hilarious.
Let's see.
Okay, so look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. This was a damn near 10 out of 10 chapter for me.
Holy shit, bro! Yeah. You are literally on a trampoline right now, bro.
Hold on. I do have a real reason for it though. Like it's my actual score, but like I have a normal reason for it. So this chapter was weirdly personal for me, right? So let me give you guys a little Creams lore, right? When I was around 17, 18, I wanted to get into stand-up comedy. And I had written out a couple of my sets and everything, and I was looking at my local comedy clubs to see like where I could perform. But like in the 11th hour, I just chickened out, right? My inner Kenjaku he just won. Like all those doubts, all those like fears, all that performance anxiety, bro, it just got to me, right? So I read this chapter and just remembered all of that, and I was like, nope, this is damn near bar for bar what my inner monologue said to like me, bro. It was, I don't know, like I wanted to get in there. I wanted to be like, Takaba, get up, bro. We can't let him win. Oh man, it was.
Oh nah, bro. 10 out of 10 is, listen. See, I thought we were gonna agree. I thought we were gonna be locked in step. Because I was literally going to like do something crazy and admit wrongness. But 10 out of 10, bro, like get up. You gotta take a shower.
Bro,
I was gonna say wipe your face. You gotta take a shower.
Hear what
bro.
I said, bro? Did you just hear what I said?
I heard you. I don't care, bro. Take a shower, bro. Hit the showers. You gotta clean yourself up, man. That's crazy. That's nasty business. 10 out of 10 is nuts. But I will agree that this chapter is very good. The reason it was good for me is because your chat, you know how I was saying, I was talking like, so first, here's what I want to say, right? Just so you guys know, I stand on business, right? Just so you know, like I'm never lying about this shit. I will say very clearly, I thought that this fight had nothing for me. I thought that a fight involving Takaba would be pure and utter dog shit. If you guys remember last stream, you heard it from me first. And I will say right now, publicly, I was fucking wrong. That shit, like Kenjaku, cooked. He cooked Takaba's dumbass, and I was locked in for it. So I'll say right here, I'll take my stand. I was wrong about it having nothing for me. I will say this though, you know how I was saying Takaba ain't funny, even on a meta level. Like he just not, his gimmick is not entertaining to me, right? And I think that I would like if Gege took that gimmick and made that the point of the chapter, I would have been right. I would have not liked it or wouldn't have cared for it, blah blah blah. But the fact that Gege basically said, he made Kenjaku the talking piece of like, yeah, I know he's not funny. We're going to show him that shit. I almost started fucking applauding while I was reading that, bro.
I hate
that
you,
shit
bro.
was crazy.
I hate you, bro. I hate you, bro.
Listen, Chad, you don't get it. And I'll throw Takaba a bone in a second, right? Like I'll give him some sympathy or whatever later. But Kenjaku logically and comedically deconstructing Takaba's unfunny ass it felt like I'm gonna be honest, it felt like my complaints were just imbued into the chapter, and I'm here for it, bro. Because like Takaba even says, damn, bro, having my jokes torn apart logically kind of hurts, and I'm like, yeah, it does, idiot. That shit ain't funny, bro. That shit ain't funny. Tell a better joke. When Takaba said, I don't care if you don't think it's funny as long as everyone else does, and Kenjaku was like, are you sure you should be saying that shit? Bro, I damn near started praising Kenjaku. I almost thank you for saying it. No one else was. Appreciate you. That shit, I was locked in, bro. I was locked in. And I was locked in specifically because Kenjaku was against the bit, bro. Takaba's bit not working. So cool. And there are other things about this chapter that are cool too. Like I think making Kenjaku someone who's like so old and such a like fan of like being entertained and being engaged, making him a big like comedy fanatic. It makes sense. It's another layer of like depth to his character isn't the right word. It's characterization for him, right? It informs us about who Kenjaku is. Like I'm gonna be honest, when I say like Gege sometimes you need to let shit cook in the background, this is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Making Kenjaku just like having him be an avid comedy fan, that's kind of sick to me, and it makes sense. Like he's such a like he needs to be constantly entertained, he needs to be constantly like fulfilled intellectually. Like having him maybe even see comedy as like a background thing, I like it. And having that like that sort of critic aspect of him be somewhat similar with Yuji, I think is also like pretty cool. So I think that was nice. I think learning more about the comedian and its limitations and its like its rules, I think that was cool too. Like I generally think the chapter was good, but a large part of it is because I think Gege just took like the everything he had set up before with Takaba being like the haha he isn't it so ridiculous how I did this slapstick guy into being like nah, this is what happens when you fight a real sorcerer. You know what I mean? You fight a real comedian. Bro got cooked. I'm locked in, bro. I'm locked in for it. That's all. I'm just locked in for it. Like
Hmm.
that shit was cool. I'm not afraid to say it.
I'm happy for you, bro.
Yeah, me too. I'm happy for me too, man. But you liked the chapter too, so that's good.
Yeah.
So you felt like Takaba, whereas I felt like Kenjaku. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah. That's very odd, man. Like it was so like we both liked it for the opposite ends of the same reason. Like I also like the same things with Kenjaku's characterization as you did, right? Him being a comedy fan. I like the fan scans describing the interaction because I was like, wait, are they hitting it off? And it was like,
Yeah,
bro, that was so cool to see.
kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. It's interesting that you think it was Kenjaku because my first thought was like, wait, was Geto like a really big comedy fan and that's how he knows? But I was like, no, Kenjaku's just been actively alive for the last 1,000 years. He wasn't like Suka, just sort of like tucked away here and there. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, no, Kenjaku's probably had like centuries of just like messing around with different hobbies like in the background. And it's weird. I could simultaneously relate to Takaba and to Kenjaku because like you know this about me, bro. I was such a big comedy nerd that I used to like listen to comedy albums while I was biking instead of music,
Mm.
right? So I was like, yeah, no, I get his like just being a fan of the game, and for
Yeah.
Kenjaku to so earnestly like engage with Takaba about the material was really cool to me. I was just brought like the dialogue was sick, the back and forth was sick, the emotional aspect was sick,
Yeah.
and the
Also,
yeah.
I want to claim some fucking credit.
Oh my
You
god.
know, last week we were talking about how good Kenjaku would be the comedian. You were talking about fucking Nobara. You were talking about other garbage carrot, not garbage. Sorry, Mikey. Sorry, Mikey. Sorry, Mikey. It was a reaction. It was a reflex. I didn't mean that, bro. I didn't mean that. But anyways, you were talking about other characters that weren't Kenjaku, and I said, nah, bro. Kenjaku would be one of the best users of the technique. I was right. I was correct. Gege just said, "Yeah, I'll throw you a bone on this one." I don't need anything from you. I don't need anything from Chad. I just wanted my vindication for just being just 1 week ahead of the curve as usual, as usual.
Mm,
But yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Anywho, you
uh,
can continue.
yes, yes. Thank you for permission. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there was a little bit of an underrated horror element when Takaba saw Hazunoki's body. I don't know why, but it was just like such a tonally like spooky thing. Like it almost like surprised me. I was like, wait, yeah, the like Hazunoki didn't just like disappear into the ether, right? Like his body is just
Mhm.
right there. Like Kenjaku just killed him, and Hazunoki was the first guy that Takaba fought on screen. So I just thought that was like a nice way to
Yeah,
kind of
like
strip
that was
Takaba of his like comedic bubble. Um,
yeah.
so
This
yeah,
shit gets serious. These
yeah,
aren't just like random people dying. This is like someone you interacted with and were like you weren't friends, but you fought him and then you parted ways,
yeah.
right? This isn't like a faceless, nameless body. You know and can see this human being dead right in front of you. Yeah.
And we know that Takaba's
Yeah.
like not really into killing and stuff, so it might have like doubly hit hard. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
characterization for Takaba, characterization for Kenjaku, like it was
Yeah.
much better than I expected. It's almost like this, right? Objectively, I think it was like a solid 7.5 out of 10. Subjectively, it was like a 9.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna split the difference and say this is like an 8 out of 10 chapter. This was pretty solid. I like this. I think Kenjaku's cool for this. I don't know if any of you guys have read the light novels. But like Yuji is mentioned to be like a pretty good like entertainment critic in them because of like all the time he spends watching movies to like control his cursed energy and shit. Like he's gone through like dozens and dozens or like hundreds of movies over the course of that time, like because that's all he can do. He's not allowed to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, no, I've become pretty good at judging quality. So I think I don't know if Gege is making an allusion to that, but it would be quite funny if like um
Like
if
mother, like
that's what he's
son.
getting at. If that's what he's getting at, yeah, basically, like,
Uh,
oh wow, you guys are both like very like entertainment inclined. So yeah.
there is another option that I think is also really funny, and that is Kenjaku's comedy fixation being a recent thing in that month that he couldn't leave, otherwise Gojo would have killed him.
Uh, yeah,
Because like he was just watching TV and like playing SNES. So
yeah,
I mean he could have just been doing that.
yeah.
Let's see.
I think that's cool.
Mm.
Let's read these super chats real quick, and then
Mm.
we can get back to the chapter. So, just some nerd. Thank you for the two. Kenny was asking Takaba if he prayed today. Yeah, bro,
No,
he's gonna
wait, hold
cook.
on. That wasn't the. Vision Man, thank you for the 222 fun dollar amount. Creams, please recite one of your sets for us. Absolutely not. Never. That is never going online, bro. I would
God,
rather post. No, no.
thank you, appreciate you.
But
Demon
yes, thank you.
Akatsuga,
Yeah,
thank you for the 5. When Kenjaku said laugh, you're a comedian. I felt that. I would laugh until the break of dawn at that too if I were there.
that's a
Let me call
little.
the cops real
Yeah.
quick.
That
Um,
that's a little crazy. That's a little
oh,
out
a dead
pocket.
body?
Yeah.
Huh? You know, smile and wave, boys.
Mm,
Smile and wave.
yep.
Dreams call the police.
Please, yeah.
No, yeah. Like I thought that she was kind of menacing too. Like, laugh. Like, come on, laugh. Isn't that shit funny?
God.
Oh man, yeah, that was
Dude,
hard. That was hard, bro.
I saw. It was like Takaba's now in this weird position. I don't know if you interpret it as like him about to lose or like this is sort of
Nah,
like
he's gotta be about to glow up. I'm
yeah,
gonna be honest.
because
He's
yeah.
gonna lock in. He's gonna do something.
So what I was thinking, right, is you remember that conversation Takaba had with his old partner where he was like the 70-30 thing. You know,
Yeah.
comedians who think they are funny versus comedians that actually are funny. I think for
Mhm.
Takaba, being a comedian who thinks he is funny is the best thing for him. Not only does it grant him like a sense of inner peace about his place, but and maybe I'm mistaken here, maybe I'm in the minority of this opinion, but I feel like if Takaba found out about his curse technique, he could theoretically be fooled into thinking that he is like simultaneously in the 70% while also being in the 30%. So like no Takaba, it doesn't like nobody can say that you're a bad comedian because your technique is literally called the comedian. It means you were literally born to be one, right? There is like a way to sort of paradoxically trick him into just, you know, having this unshaken resolve about his own abilities, which I think would make him more powerful.
Yeah, I have no idea how they're gonna do it. I don't really
Yeah.
care. I'm interested in seeing. I'm interested in
I,
seeing like
I
what
want to
the
see a I
interaction
want to
further
see a
further.
Takaba awakening, bro. I think it's on the cusp, and I want to see it, and I want to see it happen to Kenjaku.
Yeah, awakening is kind of crazy. I wouldn't be mad at like a Takaba like improvement. You know what I mean? Awakening's a little rich for my blood, but
Yeah,
it might be what we're getting. Like,
you
I don't
know,
know.
let's see,
But
let's
yeah.
see.
Caliber X4, thank you for the 10. You're gonna have to catch the VOD, but I enjoyed this chapter much more than I was expecting to. Appreciate you for the 10. And yeah,
Same,
hope
yeah,
to, glad you enjoyed up to this point. But yeah.
yep,
Let's see. Yeah, I will say what was another thing?
yeah. Oh, Liv, you're right. It wasn't. It was just some guy, right? Like at the comedy set, I was like, because I vaguely remember they had some kind of connection, or didn't talk about mention a partner. Might losing it? Like no. Talk about mention no
I
in
don't know
this
if he
chapter
mentioned a partner.
in this chapter he was like, oh, it's no fun to perform with you, or like it was like my old partner saying that about him, and then I associated it with
Uh
that guy who he had that conversation with in his initial introduction. Okay, I got there in the end, but yeah, look, bro, Takaba's on my little side there in the image for a reason. That's all I'm gonna say. I believe in him.
Fair enough, bro. Fair enough. You believed in someone else too.
Mm.
But like I don't doubt Takaba can do something. The thing that holds me back from thinking like awakening shit is like having him get an awakening to like a serious one, get bodied by Kenjaku, which I assume everyone thinks is gonna happen, would be kind of nuts. I feel like
I'll
that'd
tell
be
you,
that'd
yeah.
be that'd be crazy.
I'll tell you what though, right? At the very least, I want him to like really make Yuta's job easier. Like if Yuta just tags in right after, he's like, I got it from here, Takaba. Go and be
Yuji or Yuta?
Yuta.
Did you
Yuta.
say Yuta? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Go and be the best comedian you could be. He's like, bro, that to me turn me that's like, please God, let it happen because it would be so fucking funny. Please God, let
Um,
this happen because it would be so fucking funny, bro. Please let Yuta talk shit during the fight against Kenjaku. Just, oh, you got your ass folded by a comedian who's like half naked, and you call me a fraud. I want to hear Yuta talk kind of heavy. That's what I want.
I want to hear you to talk kind of heavy too, but off Takaba shit, it might be a little. I don't know, man. The way they were talking in the beginning of the chapter makes me think that like Yuta's not going to fight Kenjaku the way that like I thought he was going to pull up because maybe plans can change and shit, but like the way they're approaching it is like, dude, why would we split up? We have to fight Sukuna if Gojo loses. Right?
Right?
We
Yeah.
have to assume that we all fight, especially like Yuta and
Yeah.
Hikari.
And
One other
yeah, I got my wish by the way. I was like, oh, I need to see the meeting. I need to see how these pairings were decided. We didn't get like Higuruma and Yuji, and all that, but we did get the explanation for Takaba versus Kenjaku, which I think I appreciate slightly more because it helps. Like the initial shock of seeing that pair up, I feel deserved more immediate explanation than anything else. I don't know about you, um, but I definitely appreciated it.
Yeah. I will say one interesting sort of like power scaling thing, right? It doesn't have to be true, but it's just interesting that they think that. Um, Kusakabe being like, if we're trying to kill Kenjaku, we should probably send Maki. And I'm like, hmm? I'm like, okay. Like I remember the days when a certain co-host said that like
Oh my god,
Maki, Kashimo, Yuta, and Hikari wouldn't be able to get the job done. You know what I mean?
bro,
Okay.
why can't you
You
just
know, this
forget
shit,
it?
this shit changing a little bit. This shit changing a little bit. Um, but I will say that like it speaks to how not unseriously they're taking Kenjaku, but how much more seriously they're taking Sukuna. When it's like, dude, we're not sending anybody that could be useful over to fight him, bro. We're sending Takaba. Like he not really helping us in a group setting. We have no idea what the fuck he can do. I imagine if he loses to Kenjaku, it's not that big of a loss to them. It's just like, hey man, he wins somehow miraculously or like weakens him and it's just an entirely good thing, or he loses and we lost some guy who was a bum. Either
Mm,
way, like I don't know.
seems like a win-win, I guess, or at least like a win or loss, or like not a loss. There we go. Yeah, I can see the motivation behind it. It is kind of like messed up to hoist Takaba up as this sacrificial lamb almost without like meaning to. Like not in so many words, right? But
No, I mean I think it's so many words. Like I think that is entirely like I think you would be a little bit naive to think that that isn't what they're like also like adding into part of the equation here. Takaba has no emotional connection to any of them.
mm,
He has no real definitive power connection. He's a wild card, right?
yeah,
If you play him and he fails, it was a wild card. He probably would have failed regardless. But if you use him and he succeeds, well then good. You got the most out of what you can get from that. So, yeah.
true, yeah, um,
Yeah.
fair, I guess. Let's see.
Yeah.
M3D, thank you for the 5. We need a case study on how Gege gives dudes aura so easily. Kenny, these past chapters ain't just been powerful. He's a goddamn menace. You are not wrong. Can I just say, dude, like for my power scaling shout out, right? You know those memes of like, oh, Maharaga is gonna adapt to the Constitution in Higuruma's domain, right? Tell me why
Uh,
Kenjaku just unironically adapted to comedy. Like bro found a way to like trounce Toon Force. That's so funny to me, man. Like,
Yeah, bro, he made the comedian think he wasn't funny.
yeah, I mean, no, but he got that shit instantly, man. It is on like despite all the silliness, that is unironically a crazy like IQ feat for Kenjaku. Like, right?
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I'm curious if you think so, because like Angel got that shit after one encounter too. Like not to diminish Kenjaku's thing, but it's like Angel got it. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
So Angel got it without fighting him, right? Maybe just like, and here's the problem, right? Okay, let me play devil's advocate for just a brief second, okay?
Mhm.
Angel is not unimpressive. I think people think that because Hana is holding her back. Can I just be for real? Like Jacob's
I mean,
ladder was like, you know what I mean?
I'm not saying Angel's unimpressive. I'm just saying like I don't necessarily know if like deciphering comedian is exactly like
I think
the
like
IQ feat it is, because like Angel got it because like she survived the fall, right? Like that's canonically how she figured it out, which is like one encounter with one
okay,
usage of the
but
technique.
do you think it's because of that one encounter? And like Drake Frostbite brings a point. She did uh spend an entire month with him too, right? So I think whether
But even the problem with that is immediately like when we pan back to where Angel is, like while she's still getting healed by Shoko, it said that like the reason she knows the reason she survived is exclusive, not exclusively because of Takaba, but she survived because of Takaba, meaning she already attributed some weird phenomena to him, right?
mm,
And I don't think it's crazy to say that the weird phenomena she picked up on was his technique. And
mm,
all of this is happening before the month is over anyway, right? Like, I don't know. If she'd already picked up on like something about Takaba made me survive, right?
mm.
And like she assumably has never fought him. Like maybe you would just argue that both Angel and Kenjaku are like top tiers in the verse in that sense. Maybe, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
But
mean,
like
like,
I'm just
okay.
like if two people are figuring out your technique on one encounter, maybe the technique is just somewhat easy to like decipher
I mean,
when you're
okay.
actually like witnessing it at play.
Okay. Counterpoint. It's not like Hazanoki or Reggie like figured it out. Or even Megami for that effect.
Reggie didn't fight him. Megami saw him kick a guy,
Right. Okay.
right? Like neither of those things are technique usage.
Okay.
Like
My
he
point is, right. Maybe the pool with Kenjaku and Angel is slightly more like they kind of fuck up the curve, so to speak, right? They're both like old sorcerers who you know to some degree or another have a bit of power behind them and moreover than not like a lot of knowledge. So I feel like maybe they're more inclined to like see past Takaba's like figure out Takaba's ability but also like figure out a weakness to it. For me, right, it's a matter of Kenjaku's understanding what like the risks are to him, figuring out the technique and figuring out the weakness to it, and then capitalizing on it right away. While also like let's not get into the unironic IQ feat of just despite in addition to figuring all of that out, he knows the exact way to pry at Takaba's weaknesses in a way that is so hyper specific to the context of Takaba's personality in addition to his technique that I feel it adds a layer to, right? Like Angel can probably nullify the technique with hers, but she's not like hitting him with the director's notes in the same way Kenjaku was, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what I mean.
Like I guess I get that, but I don't know if that's like it's sort of like arguing that like having knowledge is a battle IQ feat. So like I
It's an
agree that the
all-encompassing
figuring it.
thing, right?
Well, okay, sure,
Like
sure,
we're
sure.
talking
But
about
like
like a sequence of maybe 4 or 5 pages, right? Like from Kenjaku first being exposed to it, like all the way to like putting him on his back. It
like
was
okay, so
yeah.
I agree that the figuring out the technique is part of the intelligence feat. What I disagree with was like so like up to the point where he's like how should I put this? Up to the point where he figures out that it's like based on like confidence and shit. Like all of that I think is a combat IQ feat. I think him like going back and forth with like comics and shit doesn't really have anything to do with like Kenjaku's intelligence as a fighter and has more to do with like the happenstance of him and Takaba sharing similar interests, if that makes sense. It'd be like saying Megami is a more intelligent fighter because he knows about like this random constellation Kasumiki taught him, right? Like it is something that Megami knows that other characters don't,
No, but
but
like
part of that intelligence feat is watered down because you automatically are inclined to have knowledge over it, like over some other person. Like it's not necessarily like it's like okay, you're asking a comedian, right? Like okay, tell a joke. It's like okay, cool, fine, you're good at telling a joke, but like you're also working in their area of expertise, which kind of like how should I put it? It like sways it more in their favor than I think it would necessarily have to be.
mm,
So like Kenjaku is someone that is heavily inclined to be entertainment, right? But like if you were to make it like I don't know, if Kenjaku weren't into say something like betting or money or finances or some shit, right? And there was the finance version of this technique. Kenjaku would probably perform worse, not because he's suddenly dumber, but because he just doesn't have this like trivia like knowledge of it in the same way he does comedy. So like I agree that when he figured it out, when he like figured out that like the weakness specifically is like you have to be confident in your ability to make these jokes land. That is all up to that point is Kenjaku doing some like intelligent detective
right,
work shit,
yeah,
right?
like that is
How
art.
intelligent that is relative to the verse, I don't know. The only thing I necessarily take issue with is saying that like the countering it is specifically super intelligent on his part because I think Kenjaku kind of like lucked out in the matchup, if that makes
Okay,
sense.
I would say yes to that respect, right? In the same way Megami lucked out with the constellation thing.
Mhm.
My
Because
one,
like, okay,
like,
If Sukuna couldn't figure it out, you wouldn't say he's dumber than Megami. He just doesn't know about some random fuck ass constellation, right?
right,
It's not like he's dumber. It just you don't have this very specific, convenient bit of trivia that helps you. Like all of these characters are very intelligent, but you extra piece that is almost up to chance to bridge that to bridge that together. I guess
right, yeah.
that's how I look at it.
I get that. I think for me, it's also like how do I say this? He knows how to competently break down Takaba's jokes. Like he's not just saying it's not funny. He's giving him like real legitimate notes in a way that I don't think characters even how do I phrase this? Knowing if you were to put any other character in that situation, right, and like you just remove their knowledge of comedy, but they got like everything else up until that point the same way Kenjaku did, I don't know if they would have the either IQ, understanding, or I guess you could call it skill to tear down Takaba's weakness logically in the same way Kenjaku did. You know, you could say it's based on his knowledge of comedy, but he's applying that knowledge, right? So it's not just him like memorizing something, but it's him like actively using his knowledge of that craft to like get at Takaba, if that
I
makes sense.
so that makes sense. I think at that point we just disagree on if people because I think there are plenty of people that would apply it like very in a very similar or at least equally like effective manner. Like I think Sukuna and Gojo would apply it just as quickly, assuming they had like the specific oh you know this comedian in this show blah blah blah. Like I think Sukuna and Gojo would come to the same conclusion and handle it the same way. Both of them have like a very I guess condescending disposition to them already. Um I mean, like I don't know if Kenjaku is the only character in the series that I would say like is able to do something like that. Shit, I would say probably if you obviously assuming you give them the same basic knowledge in comedy, I think Toji would probably accomplish a similar thing. I think any decently intelligent character in JJK would probably with that same base of knowledge be like, okay, if confidence is the basis in which he's like able to do this, then confidence is the way like taking that away is how you like negate the technique. But that's just how I view it. Like
Mm.
no hate on Kenjaku or anything like that. Like I don't want to like
Like
make it sound like I don't think what he did is impressive or cool here. I don't know if it's necessarily like top of the verse intelligence shit though.
I mean, like I guess it's kind of an agree to disagree on the scale of it because to me,
Yeah.
like the application of the knowledge is almost as impressive as like the like reverse engineering of the technique on the fly, right? Um, like I don't know, you can, but I'm also not going to just dismiss the amount of luck he has, like
Yeah.
just he is such a nerd about comedy that he's able to do that, but like because he's a nerd about comedy it made it easier to extrapolate like how to target Takaba's weaknesses, right? So
Mm.
it's a thing that goes hand in hand, is what I'll say.
Yeah, fair enough, fair
Yeah.
enough. Um, I will say one thing I found interesting is like how Kenjaku and Yuji pull similar like silly faces canonically because Gege drew Yuji's quite like that in like this off in this like chapter extra sketch or whatever. I was
Mm.
like, damn, bro, you just really like laying the parallels on thick, aren't you? But yeah,
I'm curious
yeah, yeah, yeah.
how much do you think Takaba's doing here to Kenjaku by the end? Like, if you had to put,
Er,
yeah.
I've seen theories that like Takaba won't do anything except like for like Kenjaku will somehow like trick Takaba into like utilizing his technique at an amplified rate to like affect the culling games in his favor more. So like I've actually seen the idea that Takaba will make things worse rather than better. I don't know if I agree with that. I think it's interesting though. I could see that being a pretty like unironically like a pretty funny way to backfire.
Mm.
But in terms of like actual consistent or like severe damage, I don't really see all that much being taken by Kenjaku at this point. I could
Mm.
maybe see like a sort of fulfillment or interesting like, oh, you know, you were an entertainer and you were a great one or something along those lines. But I don't necessarily think Takaba is going to on his own really cook Kenjaku. Does that mean he's going to die in this chapter or like the very next one? Not necessarily. He could definitely like fight back a little bit, but
Mm.
you know, Yuki and Choso were able to fight back a little bit before they lost, right? So I don't necessarily think that fighting back is antithetical to in the end losing. Because yeah, I'll put it like this. I don't see them I don't see Takura rather hurting Kenjaku more, making him sustain more damage than like Kenjaku had at the end of his fight with Yuki and Choso. Like, oh, he's kind of hurt, he's kind of maybe his curse energy is a little low, whatever. But nothing like very noticeable or extreme, right? That's how I'll put it. What do you think though? Gege just practicing drawing the face, you're thinking way too much about it.
Uh,
If you knew which one I was talking about, they look like he draws multiple funny faces for like multiple characters, and they
mm.
like Kenjaku and and Yuji's look very very similar. Like you'd have to not be able to recognize patterns to think otherwise.
Okay.
Hold on, let me see if I can send it to you.
Yeah. Just I don't know if like I have. Okay, realistic or like jokey answer.
Realistically, what do you think's gonna happen?
Okay.
How do you think this is gonna, how do
I,
you think this is all gonna play out?
I think Takaba might have like, God, the word awakening seems like I'm being like unserious still, but like he's going to have some kind of awakening or some kind of like coming to realization like of some kind of self actualization. There we go, right?
Hmm.
And at least make Kenjaku sorry for the everything in this
Yeah,
chapter. Um, but ultimately, I think when Kenjaku like finds a way to turn the tables, right? Mid diff fight, how long that ends up being might be like one or two more chapters, but I think at some point, if Kenjaku's about to land a killing blow, either with a domain or something else, that's that's Yuta's time to shine.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know if listen, Kenjaku thinks he's hot shit. I don't know if he wants to see Yuta with no technique. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh
That
yeah.
shit does not sound fun.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah.
I think that could be just the plan too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no, that
yeah,
could very much be the plan. I just worry like, okay, they made it, I was thinking, yeah, you gotta fight Kenjaku, but then I thought about it, right? It's like, is the plan really for Yuji,
yeah,
Higuruma,
right. Like it's
Hikari, and Maki to kill Sukuna?
that's what I'm
Like, is that
saying, bro.
really the plan? Because
That's
I'm
what
like,
because
listen, that's dicey even if you have Yuta. What the
yeah,
fuck?
because bro, I was telling you before. It's just how, like I need to see the meeting. I need to see how these things were prioritized because Yuji have better shown something so like amazing in that month for them to be like, no, hold on, we gotta change some plans here. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, that shark fin better cut existence as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Never mind.
Takaba's gets a non-shirt domain based on the comedy club. Yeah. Yuta says love has no limits and keeps Rika out past her time limit. You know what? That would. You know what? I could actually see Gege doing some like Toshiro Bankai ass bullshit, where it's like, you know,
He's a Bleach fan.
I, I said that I can only sustain Rika for 5 minutes. I never said what would happen if I went beyond that. I get a super Rika
God.
or some whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
right? Like, listen, and here's the thing too. Here's the thing too. Would
You,
that be dumb?
it would be
Probably a
so
little
stupid.
bit.
But I
But
eat that shit
would
up,
I eat
bro.
that up?
Yep.
Would I eat that shit up though?
Easily, bro.
Would I eat super Rika? Like, nah, bro. Listen. I'd eat
You
that
know
shit
what?
up again, bro.
You know, if I want to, I don't know if I want it for Kenjaku or for Sukuna, because if like Sukuna's like love is worthless, didn't you like I said it before and I'll say it
Ooh.
again, love is worthless, and Yuta's like
Let me get
not
that. Let me get
mine.
that. Yeah, let me get that, yeah, bro. Let me get that. Oh, for real? And then Blast just blows half his body off. Like,
Like, hey,
okay.
how did
Oh,
that love feel?
love's worthless.
Yeah.
Love's worthless. All right, bro. Hold this real quick. Hold this for me. Hold this for me. Yeah, no, that'd be nuts. Yeah, that shit would be kind of sick, bro. I listen. I need some get backs to be gotten back, bro. Yuji, I need you. I fear I need you to body Sukuna. Now you're not at first. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. But eventually, 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 um,
Yep.
eventually. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Let's see.
So
When I talk shit about Toshiro, I hate when Beer does it. It's cool. Side eye. I'm not talking shit about Toshiro. Like I said, the same way I would eat that shit up with Yuta, I ate that shit up with Toshiro.
yeah,
Huh? Hello?
adult Toshiro is like a
Come on now.
yeah,
Come
like
on now. Don't. I freeze your ability. That like I don't know what to tell
yeah,
you. Like if you don't like him, who cares? You're a loser. I don't
yeah,
know what to
Linda,
do.
you are not beating the quote unquote lukewarm allegations.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I'm almost banned you off Instinct. I'm gonna be honest.
Mm.
Rika Ultra Instinct. It might need to. I'm imagining a world where Yuta got 10 shadows from Megami. Now I want to see Yuta with multiple curse techniques jumping with Rika, Maharaga, and Agito. Bro, we were robbed. Bro wanted to make a fucking supervillain. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
Imagine if he also was like he would like take on the adaptations too. So like on top of copying other people's techniques, he's just copying every way Maharaga fights. Oh hell no.
No,
Um,
that's a little overpowered. Because like it's like Giga. Do you believe in in these students, or are you just
they got
like
it, bro. They got it. They got it. They got it.
yeah? It's just like I believe you. I believe you. Like that Sukuna strong. Damn. Also,
Nah, they can take
little language question here. You remember when Takaba was first introduced, or at least the technique was, it was like something that could affect even Satoru Gojo or whatever.
hmm Yeah.
I don't know about you, but comments like that have taken on a new form for me.
Mm.
After Gojo's death, or I guess Sukuna's establishment that he
It's
is
not
strong.
Sukuna. It's not Sukuna,
Sukuna,
right?
yeah,
Yep.
right, yeah,
Yep. We thought the same thing. It could be because here's the thing. Sukuna uses the same verbiage with Jogo. You could have reached the heights of Gojo Satoru.
yeah,
You're not. You never could have been me,
yeah,
but you
yeah.
could have been him.
Yeah, it's been
That shit's
recontextualized. Yeah, it's
hard.
weird,
That
right?
shit's hard. Bro. A
Yeah,
curse technique capable of opposing even Satoru Gojo. It's like not Sukuna though.
Natsuki. Yeah. Okay. So
That shit's
you
nuts.
get it, bro.
Yeah,
Okay, so it wasn't just me.
we were thinking the
Yeah,
same thing on that.
because I'm like,
We were thinking the
yeah,
exact same thing. Like, cause God, bro, can you imagine like Takaba trying to use that shit on Suka and he's like, what the? He just uses his technique and that shit just bypass. Like,
yeah.
what? You thought the shit? Cause you thought that because that would work on Gojo would work on me? Come on now, bro. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come
Because,
on. Come on. Come on.
bro,
Like, get serious. Get real.
it's just it's such a,
Specific way.
yeah. Like Gege, I see through your fucking game, man. Like your Gojo hate is crazy. That's crazy, man. Because like no way you're
Yeah.
already like throwing like burying seeds for that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was just referring to reality warping. I mean, yeah, we agree. We're just saying that like the reason comedian was so hyped up is because it was said like it works on
On
a scale that
Gojo,
can
yeah.
even affect Gojo.
But like
And we're saying that like, oh, working on Gojo just means that
It
it,
works-
doesn't it could potentially work on Sukuna, but that doesn't mean it has to anymore.
yeah.
Like,
And
we now know that Sukuna is
he's
beyond that.
yeah, right. Like the whole thing is like Gojo level is now just more or less been stated to say to be lesser than Sukuna, right?
Yeah. Also, I feel like domain amplification is a real easy way to kind of like beat the piss out of Takaba. Am I crazy? Like, if you use domain amp, right? How would his technique apply to you? Because you negate all techniques that like enter that like that make contact with you. Like, did I is that like not is that not a way to just kind of like beat him?
No,
Did
I
I just make
think
that up?
you theoretically could. I'll put it to you like this, right? It depends on if you think Takaba's body works like Luffy's body, as far as like it's like a rubber hose thing.
Hmm.
And hitting him normally like when his confidence is up is like just getting nothing back, like it's bouncing. Or if you
Yeah.
think like domain amplification would work as like hockey, um, or if
I
you
mean,
like,
yeah.
or is it like with Gojo's Infinity where it just lets you bypass the Infinity, but Gojo could just like amp up the output, right, to sort of make up for the difference. I,
Yeah, for sure. That works with Gojo, but like I'll put it like this. When Kenjaku makes Takaba doubt himself and he hits, he's like, "Oh, I felt that one. Like
yeah,
there was some feedback. Like I hit you." So I can imagine a domain amp being like, you hit him, and he's like, "Oh, that hurt. My chest. You caved in my fucking chest. What's going on here, bro?" Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That shit might be crazy. Domain amp is such an unexplained ability. Every time Gege shows it, it does something new. Does it really? Um, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it just negates techniques. I think we've seen applications for it extended. Like for example, Sukuna used it to like sort of like not negate but like limit the amount of damage he took from red, and that's like a logical extent of the ability, right? If it negates techniques and you're able to quickly use it in reaction to like a projectile based curse technique, that makes sense. But yeah.
mm-hmm.
Um I don't know. I just look at domain implication. Just think about like it has the technique negating effect of a domain. Like that's all. That's all it does, bro. You don't really need to understand it any more than with domain amplification, techniques be gone. You know,
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Um, it's funny. I don't know. Do you mull over the like how can they beat Sukuna thing, or like how many awakenings they would need, or what awakenings they would need?
No,
Really, you've never thought about it.
nah. Like I said, I just believe something's gonna happen, and I believe Gege has to figure it out. Like there are so many times in which like I could have changed my stance on Gojo versus Sukuna if I got bogged down in like the how, right? Like chapter 235, right? You asked me back then, how is Sukuna gonna win? How is he gonna like he's beat up, Gojo still has the limitless, blah 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 blah. There's no Maharaga. I wouldn't be able to fucking tell you, man. Like I just wouldn't. We would be I would not with a million guesses be able to tell you that he would have did that. But I would just be like, I think he's gonna win though. And that's kind of how I am with this. I don't know how. They're just gonna get stronger and they gonna cook Sukuna's dumbass. That's all I got. That's literally all I have.
Mm.
Um, I don't know, bro. Hit a couple of black flashes. Like for someone that's like a black flash uninitiated, like Megami, for example. Listen, bro. Let listen, bro. Let me see a black flash. Like let me see, bro. Let me see. I saw it. I saw what you did for Yuji. I saw how that bro was like, whoa, is this my cursed energy? I need that. Need that. Need that. But yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Anime Ginger, thank you for the 50. BR, what if
Whoa.
power scalers not talk about these fights or matchups like fight analysis? For example, when a fighter's weapon is speed, it's not about the application, they just take it at face value. All I'm saying is that anime math ain't or the anime math ain't mathin'. And then thank you for the 5 as well. Plus, I don't mean you, but most of these other scalers. I mean, I kind of get it. Like I see this like I guess like question or criticism a lot. It's just because it works differently than like in MMA or like than in the UFC or in like boxing and shit, right?
Mm.
So like no matter how fast a boxer is, right? No matter how much of a speed difference, the difference is going to be like measured
They're
in
still in
like
the same realm,
milliseconds.
right? Yeah,
They're gonna
like
they're gonna be measured in like okay, oh he can land, he can slip his guard, he can avoid.
mm.
Whereas like in an anime character, if you get fast enough, right, you have like let's take Toji for example, right? Toji's able to immediately after a domain grab Megumi by his fucking collar, jump out of a window, throw him to the ground, and then stand on business. And Megumi's like, what the fuck just happened? That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't happen for a boxer, right? The reason like things like speed or durability or AP or like individual stats can be so important to harp on is because the differences can be larger, right? You say like, a lot of people, and it's a fair thing. Like a lot of series don't have like just because A greater than B, that doesn't mean that B is greater or like A is greater than C, right? That's not how it necessarily goes. It can be, that's not how it goes all the time. But like if you take Gojo and you pair him up against fucking a Goku or some shit, right? Yeah, sure, Gojo has better hacks. Like he's probably calling him a smarter fighter might be crazy, but he has better hacks, right? He has better abilities. But at a certain point, you give someone enough speed, you give someone enough durability, you give someone enough strength, and they will run and punch you hard enough to send you across the planet. Or they'll blow the planet you exist on up. Like that's it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I know it can be annoying, but in some instances the argument can literally be boiled down to he's faster, he body like think about the Flash for example, right? Speed is his main notable ability. Yet if you were to say, hey, let's put the Flash up against like Sukuna, right? Sukuna has a lot of hacks, he has a lot of like combat intelligence, he has a lot of regen. Are we gonna say the Flash doesn't win because he's faster?
Bro, the way
Like
Sukuna would get
that's
dog
just
walked by Flash going at like 10% of his speed is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so like I get it. There are some examples where it's not as straightforward, right? Because sometimes you're durable enough to survive that onslaught. Sometimes that's just the case. But a lot of the times the difference in speeds can be so unbelievably massive that it doesn't matter because it's like, listen, have you ever fought? And I know you haven't. You ever fought somebody that you could never see? They just fucking disappear.
Bro, have you?
You know,
Like that's not a
no,
relatable
I'm saying, I
experience.
know, I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm saying like
Okay.
chat. I'm saying, do you know, like, no, and I'm saying you haven't because it's impossible,
Mm.
right? Like that level of speed difference isn't really like feasible within reality. But you can have someone that's like, oh, they can catch a bullet, and then someone who's like, I can dodge lightning, and the difference is like thousands of times, right? Someone is thousands of times faster or thousands of times stronger. I'm gonna be honest, bro. That makes that shit really hard to beat. Like that's all it is. I mean, it really gets that simple. But some people just be bad power scalers. Like that's also just a thing. Um, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, speed really is like 9 times out of 10 the most important physical stat, so it's dominating. It just depends. It just depends. You have cases like Nobito versus Dagon, where Nobito blitzes Dagon, but his AP is bad, and Dagon lands a domain. Exactly. Like some abilities can negate a speed difference, right? But not. But it just depends, right? If Naobito was the Flash, it wouldn't have negated the speed
Mm-hmm.
difference. But Naobito's Naobito. They're close enough in speed to where his attacks can work, and that's what you kind of have to determine. Flash gets beat by Mr. Freeze, bro. He also outruns death, so it's like,
Yeah.
like,
But also
yeah,
like
pick your poison.
the specific mechanism for Captain Cold's gun is that the ice field forms before the ice beam like takes hold. So the Flash is basically walking through like the concept of absolute zero prior to
Yeah,
like reaching him to slow him down enough for Captain Cold to see him and then B finally like tag him.
you just said I can blitz a blind person. You're holy shit. What are we
Oh
doing
my
here, man?
god, bro, why did you read that
That is
out loud?
I don't know, man. That shit was just crazy. That shit was just nuts. I have seen a true speed blitz. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. If I was watching two people fight and one of them disappeared from view, I'm literally no questions asked, begging them to train me. Chat, do you lit chat? I don't think you guys get it. Do you get how fast you have to be to disappear from someone's vision? No, 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 no. Yeah, you need to train me right now. What did you go through, bro?
Bro, I'm curious.
What did you go through?
If he was like, yeah, you know those videos of the guys with like GoPros free climbing skyscrapers under construction?
Yeah.
If he was like, yeah, I just climb one of these to build up my upper body strength every morning, but if you want to join me, this is where it starts. Where it
And
starts.
and and where it starts, and he's like, this is what I did though.
Yeah.
Was he normal like me at one point?
He was normal like you, but this is like it was sort of like Saitama with the 100 push-ups, but like this is like this would be the 100 push-ups for him, right? This is one of the
Okay.
things he does to start the training.
Yeah, let's do it. What the fuck? I'm
So
about to what? Yes,
200 miles,
yes.
200 miles, 200 fucking stories, still under construction, no gear, like you're just using your hands.
Because he did. If listen, if I have the guarantee that he was a normal person at first, if he could do it, I can do it. Like that's all it is. All I need to know is that he wasn't superhuman from the jump. As soon as I get clearance or like clarification, oh, you were normal, that means I can do it. Because there's no way you can and I can't.
I think
That's all. That's
I think
what
the
I'm
whole point
thinking.
is like the threshold of the training would be so massive that it's like you want to put
No, and
yourself through
that's
that.
yes.
Oh my God,
Disappear. Yes. Yes. Yes.
bro thinks he's a
Yes.
shonen protagonist. I'm sick.
Hey, listen, if I saw that, I would be. Because clearly, that's my sensei. Clearly, this motherfucker, he did that to show me. Clearly, like, there's no way. There's just no way I would just randomly encounter that, bro.
Bro, your arch nemesis is gonna be. I feel bad for him, bro.
Hey, bro, I feel bad for you too.
Shut the fuck up, man.
But like, yeah. You gotta be fast, bro. You gotta be fast.
But yeah,
So yeah.
bro saw
Yeah.
Baki fight IRL.
I'm just saying, like, y'all, like, I mean, y'all, it's like, come on, man. A human did, come on, bro. Y'all really not locking in, man. You have to be fast. And if I have to climb a couple of skyscrapers, fight a couple of lions or whatever, do the shit that he did as training when he was a normal person in order to get to that level, okay, cool. Bet. Let's do it. Like, let's lock in. Come on. When do we start? Now? All right, bet.
Speaking of power scaling, and I guess JJK, I want to just quickly talk about the Makima versus Gojo death battle.
Okay.
Did you see it?
Nope.
Of course you didn't. You're such a okay. So
Such a what? Were you gonna call me a slur?
shut up. Anyway,
Yeah, that's what it sounded like, bro.
do you know the result, or do you care about spoilers? I guess.
I know Gojo won. I don't
Okay.
care.
So who did you have like of that matchup prior to the death battle? Out of curiosity, just like personally, who did you have winning?
I don't know. Probably Gojo. The only thing I can think of is like you just argue that like Makima thinks that she's superior and then puts him under her control, but it's kind of implied that like unless that's objectively the case, she needs to somewhat prove that. Like she has to beat Chainsaw Man in order to prove that
yeah,
he is.
okay.
So if you have to do that and you have to actually fight Gojo, then Gojo should probably win.
Okay, so they had Gojo win, right? They it was like the definition of getting the right result using the wrong formula. So one of the things they mentioned in their explanation that I just haven't stopped thinking about, and I just want to get it out somewhere. So I'm making it your guys' problem. All right. So they said that Gojo's birth changed the very course of like the Jujutsu world. He was like scaring people into retirement when he was like fucking 9 or whatever.
I already hate this reasoning because what does that got to do with anything?
So that's what I was saying, bro. That's it. She was like, "Oh yeah, like Gojo is just so important that Makima would just be like able to sniff that basically, and that's why that whole like she would think she's better than him thing wouldn't work." And that shit drove me like I was so befuddled, man. Like it's such a like why do you add that on? Like you.
I mean, I get it because it's important. Like, I get that part. Like, if that wasn't the reason they said he wins, but it's the reason they said like she doesn't immediately control him, that makes sense because
like,
if you don't clear that condition,
like,
then she instantly loses.
Here's the thing, right? Your thing makes sense, like that phrasing, but for them, it's like
that's why he
that
wins.
is
That's just it.
that was one of the reasons Makima couldn't do that, right? Like how do I say it? That is their answer to why Makima couldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
So that's like what I mean. It's the right answer, but like the wrong formula. So it was just like the whole video was like that. And one of the things that I sort of liked, I think, about the death battle was the win con was Gojo trapping her in infinite void, right? And he was like,
Mhm.
they're like theoretically she's getting hit with like an infinite amount of like information or damage or whatever, so she could like
Mhm.
so everybody like all the citizens of Japan can be getting hit by infinity at the same time. I was like, okay, that's
Yeah.
kind of cool,
I
right?
mean, he can
Infinity is
also just
infinity.
kill her 126 million
Yeah.
people,
And that was the thing that I was thinking. I was like, you don't even really need to do that because like Gojo canonically can kill everybody in Japan. Like,
including like inhumanly strong sorcerers,
yeah,
right? Who
right,
also reside there.
exactly. So he
So
can.
yeah,
It's sort of like you can do this the long way or the short way, but Death Battle chose like the weird way, like with a bunch of loops and stuff. And I don't know. I just like it's such an odd Death Battle ism as far as like the writing is concerned. It's just I don't know. It's odd. It's so it's bizarre to me.
yeah. Um, I mean, yeah, like I don't even like domain is cool or whatever, but like just like the like if I were Gojo, I wouldn't even fucking use my domain. Like what there's no need to just kill her, but because the problem is if you use your domain you run out of your technique, cool, now she can hurt you, which is like the main issue. As long as you just keep infinity up and you keep tearing her apart with blue and purple, we
Yep.
know you under normal circumstances, right? Unless you're like forced to destroy and recreate your brain, your cursed energy output is not going to drop. You are not going to get tired. You
Yep.
are not going to run out of cursed
You'll be
energy.
fine. Yeah.
Just spam regular like red, blue, and like maybe if you want to like chant a purple or some shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like I think Gojo
Uh,
would probably beat her like 8 or 9 times out of 10 because like it's not even about beating her. It's like it would just be so painstakingly long, not
yeah,
hard, just long, that it doesn't really appear as to me one sided as it should be. And maybe that's the gambit. Maybe I don't know. It's Death Battle's funny, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
does Goku beat Makima though? Duh. Like
Like
none of like
God,
even if she viewed him as weaker than her, right?
insane, but yeah.
And Dragon Ball characters very consistently, like this isn't a one-off thing, just ignore hacks if they are strong enough.
And
It's just how it is.
okay. I'll even let me put on my Death Battle cap, right? Because this might be fun, right? Even if Makima was about to get Goku under her control somehow, right? She just couldn't believe it after like the him beating Japan's citizen 9,008,000 whatever. Um,
Mhm.
Goku or like any Dragon Ball character could just be like, you know what, this is boring. Let me just blow up Japan or the Earth. Like
Yeah.
it's such a like
Yeah, I mean,
like it
what are
like
we doing?
yeah like if Goku can destroy your power source, which is like humanity, or any character can just do that, then I feel like that inherently puts Chainsaw Man devils at like an inherent disadvantage.
Yeah.
Also, he can come
Yeah.
back from the dead, so even if he died, he'd be fine.
Yeah. Gojo runs through hell like Chainsaw Man, pretty much.
Yeah,
Um,
but he's just
I don't know if he can get back through. Like, I don't know if you think him teleporting, but like, I don't know. Like at that point, Gojo's just stuck in hell, which I guess is like a win con. Like, that's
I mean,
fine,
he's been there
whatever.
before, or like he'll be fine.
Oh yeah, man. I guess he's just stuck there or whatever. But I don't think she actually like beats or kills him, from my understanding. Granted, I'm not nearly into like Chainsaw Man scaling as I am like JJK,
God,
so I could be a little
I
bit misinformed. But
I
generally
dislike.
speaking, I don't
Yeah,
think
I don't. I
I
dislike
don't
Chainsaw
think.
Man scaling, man. Makima's really the only character you could really do this with, just at length, because she's the devil you get most exposed to. And I don't know if that's just the symptom of Chainsaw Man's story being paced and structured the way it is,
Yeah,
not lending itself well to prolonged power scaling debates. But in my opinion, it's more an issue with the fact that like Chainsaw Man's power system and the way these devils function is so inherently metaphysical that it's almost like it's fighting a very weak concept, right? Like
uh,
I I I, I
yeah,
I don't know, man. You wanna beat the fucking bomb devil? I just don't get blown up. I
yeah,
don't know,
and like
like
Yeah, and asking about like Dragon Ball characters versus like Soul Reapers, because someone said like because they're spirits. Dragon Ball characters just punch spirits. Like
Yeah.
they can just hit them. Like they can see them, they can fight them. Goku comes back as a spirit for like the tournament day. They're perfectly able to kick his ass, not kick his ass, but like they're perfectly able to like fight him and shit, see him all that.
Yeah, like
Um,
Frieza fought in the Tournament of Power with a halo on his head, you know? Like, eh,
yeah.
it's just, yeah, Chainsaw Man is, I don't know.
Chainsaw Man is very much like a like so there's this like quote people like or this like idea people like to bring up, and I think they don't understand how silly it is sometimes, like when they use it in the context of like power scaling is like a fruitless endeavor, right? And I think it's like this something Stanley said where it's like
The
the writer
writer
can make
is
a
the one who,
character as
yeah,
strong as he want, and
yeah.
it's like okay, cool, that is true, we agree. Power scaling is not saying this character has to be this strong. Power scaling is analyzing what the writer has decided they can do.
Hmm.
In the same sense that you could say power scaling is useless for that, you could also say, oh, well, analyzing or reviewing a series is pointless because the author can make it whatever they want. It's like,
Hmm.
well, fuck no, that's not how that works. Like just because the author can do something, it's likely that they're trying to write like a generally consistent story, right? Which in a battle shonen where it's like heavily reliant on the outcome of fights and shit,
Hmm.
you probably want consistent power scaling. The thing is in Chainsaw Man, like because characters can power up or power down so quickly and so like in the background, I just don't care to power scale it. Like
Hmm.
especially internally. Now, if you're talking like, okay, you want to compare JJK to Chainsaw Man or Chainsaw Man other versus maybe whatever, but holy fuck, this just trying to scale like Makima to like
It's,
another devil
yeah.
sound like god
It
awful
sounds so
boring
tedious,
bullshit.
man. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's fundamentally not fun, and I think that's my stance on power scaling. Is like, I don't want to engage in power scaling that just is not fun.
Yeah,
Where
I mean that's the point of this shit. I'm gonna be honest.
yeah, and there's like two fundamental ways power scaling can be unfun, right? Inherently, one is if it's completely lopsided. You know, the coughing baby versus nuclear bomb meme.
Hmm.
And the other one is like the Chainsaw Man example, where one of these characters comes from a universe that is so disinterested in like the power scaling aspect and is so like narrative heavy that like the powers are a means to an end functionally in the story, where like to some degree they all are, but like in series like that, you know, the
It's
soft power system,
so obvious
yeah, it's
they do
just
not give a
they
fuck.
do not give a it's so it's damn near set dressing or just part of
Like
the
I
setting,
honestly,
yeah.
it's so much so I don't know if I can think of another battle shonen off the top of my head that it seems that lackadaisical with like making that like I'm gonna be on like so dead ass, like I can't think of another series that is like not inconsistent. I don't mean this in like a criticism way, but everything else seems to have more of like a methodology to it, right?
Mm.
Like a sort of like ebb and flow. Like even One Piece shit, from what I've seen, is a bit more consistent in like the way it depicts characters or the way you can beat someone. Blah 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 blah.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. So what would a fun Gojo matchup be then? Anybody? I mean,
Okay.
Gojo's
Dude,
only a fun character to power
yeah, you and
scale.
I have had this conversation like so many times. That okay. So I had this thesis, this TikTok I made a while back, right, where I was like, Gojo is a particularly infuriating character to power scale, because any character that can get past his infinity by force is so much stronger than him in every other stat that it's not even a fight, right? Like there's nothing Gojo can do to just he can't like retaliate in any way, right? And any character that's like on Gojo's level physically or like with his other stats probably can't get rid of infinity, right? So for example, if you put up Gojo against somebody like Asta, the way Asta would piece him up, dude, would be criminal. Like it would
Yeah,
not be
like I'm
fair.
gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna, I'm gonna put it simply, right? JJK is a very weak verse, and Gojo
Mm-hmm.
is an infinity merchant, right? And the same way we saw in the Gojo versus Sukuna fight, you take that away from him, he is nothing special.
Like
Like,
you can say
Jesus Christ, that
like
sounded crazy.
I
Like
not even
relative to the JJK verse, he
yeah,
still is. But
but like the
if you
JJK
just
verse
take
in and of itself, right?
yeah,
Like the
but
thing is, yeah,
if you just take infinity, if you make Gojo touchable, the amount of people like listen,
dog
there
walker.
are a few
Like
verses that
I
are
love
very
Gojo.
weak.
Yeah,
Demon Slayer, Hunter x
Hunter.
Hunter,
Yeah.
JJK. Those series are all so embarrassingly like weak. Like you'll notice you're gonna see some like JJK Hunter x Hunter versus battles on the
Mm-hmm.
channel soon. That's because really outside of that, you put Hunter x Hunter against Naruto, you put Hunter x Hunter against Bleach, you put Hunter
But
against
like,
One Piece, Dragon
so
Ball, anything. It's
is
just like, what are we doing?
your intention with that just to show that like Hunter x Hunter characters are just they should
I'm saying,
not
yeah,
be like put in versus battles, man. Like they are not particularly strong.
yeah. But like that's what I'm saying. But you can have a JJK characters, and they are like only like sometimes
They're
marginally
like a
above Hunter
slight
x Hunter
tier
characters.
above them, yeah. Like
Yeah, Demon Slayer characters are just like kind of fast, but they have worse attack, like they have worse AP than fucking JJK characters, bro. They out here like blowing up buildings as like their max output and shit.
mhm.
And when I say buildings, I mean like houses.
Yeah.
Like that
Like
they be fucking no, that's just funny as
yeah,
hell.
like Marilyn
Um
would probably be as strong as like a disaster curse, maybe.
yeah, it's funny I was having a conversation about that. Miriam's a guy for real. He's a guy
Like
for real.
y-
Gojo without Infinity still special grade. Okay, when I say not special, I should have clarified, and I think I did actually. I'm saying not special. Like you see a Gojo versus Saitama or a Gojo versus Goku. There's no point in putting him in those matchups if he does not have Infinity. That's all I'm saying.
mhm. Like uh played this game right now, chat, right? The BR and I played, where it's like, think of a character that you'd want to put up against Gojo that you think can find a way around Infinity that would then present Gojo with some kind of equal fight, right? I don't think that character exists. Like, I don't think there's a character who can, like, warp space while simultaneously having the hands of somebody who's, like, what, island level, if you want to be charitable to Gojo or uncharitable to Gojo, depending on how strong you think Gojo is physically, like with the blue buffs and everything.
Yeah.
The fights are key. Old houses at the black hole is crazy though. As like an ultimate trump card, man. Like
Yeah. Oh, BR was responding to the guy who said Gojo without Infinity was a grade one. Oh, okay, got you. That makes sense. That makes sense. That's crazy. That's kind of crazy to say. I'm gonna be
okay,
honest,
okay.
but like, yeah, it's kind of wild. Naruto is fodder planetary at most. Hey, bro. Kage actually created a fourth dimensional space, so actually they're kind of universal. No, but like, yeah, whatever. Who's even talking about Naruto right now, bro? Listen, I'm gonna be honest. Light Fang putting Gojo on a T-shirt.
By the
Light-based abilities actually cook his ass,
yeah.
and that's so funny.
Also, Shade the artist, man. He's still a high level fighter in JJK. The problem is JJK itself doesn't scale that high as a universe.
Yeah, it's like we're not saying Gojo is shit, but he's shit because like JJK is shit, and we're talking about power scaling to other like
Yeah.
you don't have to take it that deep. It's just other series.
Mm.
Um,
Okay. I saw someone
but
say
yeah,
Gojo was faster than light and planetary. I
faster than light is kind of bonkers. Planetary, I mean, I get it. Like, I get the Sukuna could destroy the planet, blah blah blah. Yuki black hole, blah blah blah. Like, I get it. I get it. Whatever.
it's
Um,
bro, like
he
I
cuts the world, whatever.
yeah.
Gojo ain't Sukuna though. That's all it is. I'll say that.
Speaking of Sukuna, man, so okay, you know the phenomena that's been going on since Gojo, like as a character debuted, where it's like Gojo versus battle. How would he do against blank, right? You know,
Yeah.
I'm curious now, or at what point, maybe when it gets adapted in the anime in 2038 or whatever.
Mhm.
um, if you think Sukuna will take over his spot, like the Sukuna versus battles videos, you think they're gonna be coming? Like what? Like or is Gojo like just
Mm,
okay?
the
Let me
reason
ask you.
Gojo's
Okay,
always been
let me
okay.
ask
Go
you
ahead.
as a content creator and like as a observer, right? Because I think you might have different answers, right? I know you and Noab do your JJK versus battles videos, and like it's with like or not JJK versus battle, but like you do versus battles where like you have Gojo in there, and it's like, well, how do they get past Infinity or whatever, right? And that's usually kind of where the video stops is with Gojo. I'm curious now if you were to be like okay, the Gojo versus the how do you that those guys from Naruto, the pain guys.
The Akatsuki.
Yeah, yeah. Like, could you make that with Sukuna, right? Like, has Sukuna taken over the like JJK representative matchup guy slot from Gojo? Do you think, as a content creator and like personally?
I mean, no for neither. Wait, no for neither. No for both.
Mm.
Because the thing is like I said, Gojo's an Infinity Merchant. JJK is off the back of like that. Um, because they're not like you put Sukuna up against because he can be punched, right? He can be
Mm-hmm.
hit and shit. I was recording a video with like six, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably gonna go up on Sukuna search like cooking in Shibuya or whatever. But like it
Mm-hmm.
was Sukuna versus the tailed beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way you have to like contort and twist and say crazy shit, right? To get Sukuna to be at all a like even relevant character is so ridiculous, right? So no, because physically they're not strong, speed wise they're not fast, durability wise they're not great. They have domain expansions and that's cool or whatever. But that's really what they got. That's really what they got. Yeah,
So
it's yeah.
so like Gojo retains that spot just because of the infinity. It's not so much like
Correct.
versus. It's like how do these characters get past Gojo's infinity, etc.
Yes.
Right. Okay. But I know for some characters you had in there, they were Gojo level, or like Gojo was able to hurt them up until a certain point, right? And there is a reasonable argument to be made that Sukuna can do the same thing and maybe go further. I don't know Naruto like that, but just humor me here.
The
Like,
problem is here, let me give you an example, right? A
okay.
character, okay. There is a character in Naruto, right, who as a kid with barely any chakra is able to chop lightning in half, right?
Mm,
That character gets blitzed and folded several times over by the Akatsuki.
mm,
Very, very badly.
okay.
Whereas JJK is probably peak. Like you could take Hashimo, he has like electromagnetic base attacks. Nobody ever fucking really reacts to it, right? Like he
Right.
usually shoots that shit after like or Suguna gets hit or whatever, right?
Right.
So it's hard to scale that. So you can't even really say their light speed. So if you say that their best feat is like an ambiguous Hikari dodging lightning feat, cool, fine, whatever. They're getting blitzed. Like, and for all the people who've read Naruto, it's Kakashi, right? The lightning cutter. That's where that whole nomenclature comes. Uh, like he fucking kid damn near chocolate Kakashi like makes a Chidori, cuts that shit in half. What are we doing? Like that's the levels we're talking about. Haku is a character who in the first arc jumps between mirrors at the speed of light. There are
Mm,
characters in part one Naruto who are weaving hand signs at the speed of light. You know what I mean? Like there's just levels, man. That's all it is.
I see.
That's
Okay.
all it is. And can Homelander beat JJK?
No.
No. Not at all. He probably couldn't beat Yuji.
But he couldn't beat Nanami. um,
I don't know if I'd go that far,
high diff.
but no, I'm joking.
And
Nanami might not. No, I'm joking, but
uh,
I'm not gonna say one way or the other, but yeah.
Sleeping Ninja, thank you for the 14. Infinity list Gojo getting one shot by Yuki. One shot?
That's nuts.
That's
I'm gonna be
nuts.
honest with you. That's
Like,
like
is
because
it
now you have to now think that like Kenjaku is more durable than Gojo,
not only that, but like
and he's getting hit.
if Gojo has, if it's just Infinity that's off, but he has the rest of his abilities like domain expansion, purple, like I don't know, man.
Yeah, one shot is like
Yeah,
if you're assuming he just gets hit, like if we're assuming he hits. Okay, maybe.
yeah, and also he's
Yeah,
faster than her. Like,
yeah. Yes.
it's funny. Um, Skinny Boy,
Mm.
thank you for the 5. I thought Yuki versus Chuya, Bungo Stray Dogs, would be somewhat interesting from an ability standpoint, though he scales above her IMO. Maybe Gojo instead. I've never seen Bungo Stray Dogs. Sorry.
Yeah, me neither. I have no idea, bro.
Yeah. Let's see.
What is Chuyu's ability? Yeah. Somebody like Gojo never uses teleport. He's like constantly using that shit. But
Mm.
if you could select one ability from anime and one from cartoons, what would you pick?
Are you asking me or is
Mm,
that a chat?
that was a chat.
Oh, okay, I do not see that. Um, okay.
It wasn't a super chat. It was just a chatter. Onyx
Oh,
said that.
okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Well, do you have an answer off the cuff or?
Not necessarily. Give me idle transfiguration. I have a few abilities I will be granting myself after the fact, and you can't take it now. I already picked it. Already laid claim.
Okay.
Um, yeah. I
Um.
mean, from a cartoon, I don't know. I don't well,
Uh.
I'll let you think. Let me say the super chat from King Naja.
Okay.
King Naja, thank you for the five. JJK is such a weak verse that the meme of give Sakamoto a cursed pen and drop him in Shibuya in the series ends there. It's funny, but kind of true. Listen, no spoilers, but spoilers. Me and Noop are working on a Sakamoto x JJK
My God, dude.
versus battle dual collab, bro. And let me just say this: that shit is contentious as hell. I'm gonna be honest, bro. It's not as easy as you think it would be.
My God.
Give me the Sharingan in 10 Shadows. I'm simply giving myself the Sharingan without transfiguration. I'm a dirty cheater, but it is what it is, bro.
From
But yeah,
anime, I guess. Give me the Almighty. It's kind of easy there.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
bro. What the
Um.
hell? Why would you? Ugh.
I mean,
That is not.
no. Give me the
I don't
Almighty.
know, man.
I don't need like the goop, right? I could just take the basic bitch Almighty. You know, like that's
But you don't
serviceable.
change it. You just see the future.
I
Is that
don't
what that
give me
is?
the whole package, man. Like
But I'm saying, but like, okay, cool, but like, damn, bro, that's just kind of like, I don't know. Powers, there's almost a point. Maybe I'm weird, right? There's almost a point where like powers to a certain degree almost like backfire and just make your
I
life
mean,
more boring.
I mean, here's the thing. Right? I can choose how interesting it can be, right? Um,
Mm.
and I feel like, yeah, maybe my thing is right. We're both kind of going for the make it easy on yourself thing. So,
I'm saving the world, bro. What are you talking about?
oh my God, you
Hello,
stupid idol. I just remembered that
dude,
you want
dude.
to do that.
I'm literally going to save the world, bro. Like,
Okay, okay.
trust me. There are some things
Fine,
that will
fine.
get
Let me
handled.
choose. Let me choose like a basic, not even a basic, but like let me choose a planetary superpower at least, right? Um.
Sure, do your thing.
Uh.
Mikey said, "Give me the Almighty."
God.
That shit's funny as
Shut
hell,
up.
bro.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Give me. Oh, Mob's abilities are great. Yeah. Give me. No. Give me Psyche K's abilities. All of them. Just give me the Psyche K package.
Pick a power, motherfucker. What are you doing
Give me
here?
the
Bro
Psyche K
said, give
package.
me a set of. Bro said, give me a set of powers. Pick one person's abilities.
Psyche
You
K,
lame.
bro. Give me Psyche K's abilities.
What does he have multiple abilities, bro?
They're
Does he have multiple
they're
abilities?
multiple abilities, but they're all like
That'd be like,
no no
nah, bro.
no no
You
no no
talking crazy right
they're
now.
powered from the same thing. So it's sort of like Gojo's like blue enhanced punches.
All right, bro.
His
You would be able to have blue. So pick one.
yeah. So
That's
just
crazy.
give me Psyche K's telepathy, and I'm down.
Telekinesis. So telepathy is what you're getting.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
he like all his
Telepathy. I don't know. I don't know. Telepathy kind of.
yeah.
Telepathy's cool. Telepathy's cool.
So
I don't know if I want to know what people are thinking though. For the most part.
okay, for him, he has this like really cool offshoot of the telepathy that I have in mind where his telepathy is so strong it extends to his sense of touch, but he has to wear like these very thin gloves to avoid it, but like it affects objects. So he can just pick up like he could touch a book and just absorb all of it. And not only can he absorb the contents of the book, where it was published, the trees it was made from, the factory where it was printed, the ship it was on to get like, shipped to the bookstore. So he gets like the entire book's life story.
Yeah, Chad. I fear Creams does not get the point of Pico power.
Yes. I just think that shit's
He
raw.
did.
Um so Psyche
Bro
Case
said, "Give me
telepathy.
20."
And the other
Bro
one,
said, "Give
and
me
from
20."
cartoons, I would pick specifically if I, because I don't want to pick the Omnitrix because I think that's too busted. I want to do this in good faith. Give
Mm-hmm.
me upgrades abilities because like day to day life upgrades abilities would be so sick. Just imagine just
Mm-hmm.
upgrading random tech or nonsense in your place. Like that shit sounds cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Mikey, shadow clones to get more work done. You real? I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna probably make one body double with auto. I don't know if Mahito can make them anymore, so I'll just say I'll make one body double. Like I would. Shadow clones is probably a close second for me. Cause God, I would be the perfect human being, bro. Holy shit. Because one thing that's interesting about shadow clones,
Why
because
not?
you're not Naruto initiated, right?
Why not
Obviously,
super
you get the
speed?
clones.
Or like why not like why multiple versions of yourself and not like super speed?
Well, I can't think of an anime character off the top of my head who has super speed as an ability. First of all,
Okay.
and secondly,
I mean,
like
you could do
the
the
thing
Flash
about
from the animated show if you want to be like,
I guess,
yeah.
but I was just thinking anime. But like for like shadow clones, right? The interesting thing is like if you recall them back you gain all of their experience, right? So like if you have a shadow clone read an entire library's worth of whatever the fuck, right? When you call it back, you now are inundated with all that information. Granted, you are given all of the fatigue that comes with it, so you have to be careful. But like the way in which I would be picking up new skills and abilities would be crazy. That being said, I'm probably going without a configuration still. And Lemillion, you say Naobito? I don't want to be doing math while I'm using super speed, bro. Fuck that. I'll take out configuration. If I'm gonna need super speed, that shit needs to be basic as hell. Put one foot in front of the other, 24 frames and goddamn planning out my movements. I ain't doing that, bro. No learning curve for me. I need to get this shit day one. Nah, that's crazy.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
I can see that. Oh, or maybe okay, like an offshoot of this would be Nico Robin's ability. Because it doesn't
is
have
that the
this.
Flores,
Yeah,
whatever the
with
fuck
like
it's
the
called, like a
multiple. Yeah.
hands?
But you could do
Yeah,
that to any of her limbs and or her entire body. So
yeah.
you could technically make another version of yourself that pops out of anywhere.
Yeah, I'm
I mean, that's the one Oda
chat
said he'd pick. You know.
yeah, chat direct me towards the injured people. I have some healing to do.
Mm.
I think I'm gonna just yeah, I'm gonna be the best person ever live, I feel. Without our transfiguration, bro. I feel like I'm gonna be honest, I'm putting up Jesus numbers.
My God.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You know, out of
let me
curiosity, like, are you gonna let them like how do I say this gently and like controversially? How far are you gonna go with the bit before ripping out the rug? Like, are you gonna present yourself as such,
I'm not
or
going anywhere. There's no bit. I'm just gonna be
okay?
like
I
I'm
was
just
gonna
gonna
say
like go into yeah, no, there's no bit. I'm just gonna like I mean, I feel like at first I'm gonna be doing it very ineffectively, like going into hospitals, like just healing people and shit. But I'd eventually have to figure out a way to do that in mass. Um,
I
because I
mean,
like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like when I say I'm gonna put up Jesus numbers, I don't want disciples, right? I just mean like, listen, Jesus healed some sick people. He brought some people back from the dead, right? But let's go band for band. Let's go healed person for healed person, bro. Like, come
nah.
on,
I
let's do it,
okay.
dude. Like, listen,
I don't
yeah.
know, man. I feel like you're just attracting too much attention to yourself. That sounds like a government knocking at your door
No
kind of.
one's. I have idle transfiguration. Nobody's fucking with me, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
All right.
Right.
Um, do you, bro? I will say, there is one cool application to idle transfiguration that I would use it for. I think it's positive. I just don't know if I can. Here, let me mute up. I'll like run it by you, and you just tell me.
God, bro. If you gotta mute up, it's probably not the best. I- Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I'm a little uncertain of like you know just being so
Yeah.
forward about that.
I mean, hey, bro, do you like? I didn't even think to do that. That's not bad at all. Um,
I mean, okay.
I don't know.
I mean, if
I
you
think
think
it's
it's
fine. I think
if you
it's
think it's
fine, bro.
fine, all right. I mean, we're both
Yeah.
gonna take responsibility
King
for
Nice.
it. Yeah.
Jesus,
Um.
let's go band for band. Broken Ronin 2023. Listen, I'm not saying I'm better than him. Obviously, I'm not because I don't have idle transfiguration. If you want to prove your point, Jesus, you can grant that to me right now. But like, I'm just saying, like, Jesus worked miracles, but like with that, so can I. That's all I'm saying, bro. Like that's all it is. That's all it is. Open up a little clinic. Like, come on, listen. It's not gonna cost y'all any money. I don't need to buy any equipment, right? Hey, damn, bro. You just got in a crazy car accident. You worried about spending thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars?
Well, you can
Wait,
spend
watch this. High
hundreds with.
five.
Oh.
No, bro. What the fuck? High five. All right, you good. See ya. Like, bye. Recommend your injured friends to me later, I guess. Like,
Oh.
were you planning on charging money?
I not that much money, but I
Oh
mean,
nah, bro. Bro
you know what
said
I
get
do?
ready to
Okay.
spend hundreds. That's
You know
nuts.
what I do? I
You're
do like the equivalent of when cashiers spin the little iPad around and like do the little cough.
a tip.
That.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, bro.
It's optional, but like I'm looking at you.
You can't. Gee, what?
Like you don't have to. I mean, hey man, I just
That's
I just gave you the ability to walk. I mean,
so
but no,
crazy,
it's
bro.
cool. You know, if you don't have like a 20 on you, it's fine. Cool.
This motherfucker said, "Give me a tip for a high five." I don't know, man. Um, Jesus made miracles, but with this, so can I. Ronin of the broken sect. See, when you guys just take shit I say out of context, it makes me sound like an insane person. But I'll have you know, these are very sane,
I
very
think you,
regular
I
thoughts.
think you make you sound like an insane person, bro. Like just
Rich people with incurable diseases would likely seek you out. What did Jesus say about like rich people and getting through a needle or something? Yeah, they could pay me. I'm
yeah.
not. Listen. If a rich person, if a wealthy person, if a person with a B in their net worth wants to fucking talk to me, yes, you're going to be shelling out crazy
Yeah,
money. Let me
there's gonna be a
redistribute some shit.
transaction fee. There's gonna be a service fee. There's gonna be a transportation fee. There's gonna be a
But
I
like,
like pay the difference in
yeah,
taxes fee.
yeah. But like, listen, if it's a normal fucking person, like what? Charging money is just not because it's not even like there's it's just palm. I can give you a high five. Nah, bro, come on now. Also, hands legato. This is crazy. So I'm gonna do a quick prayer. Okay, cool. For the first time in 2,000 years, Jesus of Fraudzerith felt the heights of
What
tension.
the fuck,
Holy
man?
shit.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that's
You know,
wild.
sometimes I wonder, what if this is somebody's first podcast episode?
Yeah, that
Like,
would be nuts. That would be real crazy. Um, But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm just thinking some people are saying I'm crazy. Some people are saying they're on my side. And I'm just like, dude, I get like really. The thing is, you could be selfish with auto transfiguration and still help like a fuck ton of people. Like even if you don't go about it in like the most intelligent way. Like I just think about it like, okay, there's no risk to you. Nothing can really hurt you, right? No physical form of attack is doing anything to you, so you don't have to ever worry about that. You ever get like, I don't know, a government agent, like, oh yeah, I'll just turn into like this very very small creature, dip and dodge out, and then like just leave because I have idle transfiguration. Oh, I'm stuck behind this. Well, let me just make my arm like 40 times its size, punch through that shit, and keep it pushing. Like nobody's gonna stop me. Nobody's gonna stop this fucking this this forced charity, bro. I will help the world whether it likes it or not. That's crazy. But like, I just mean, listen, people getting healed, bro. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro.
I
We
I,
we we
I don't know,
single
bro. Like,
handedly
I'm
we
turning.
bring in some we bring some free healthcare. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, like subsidized. Yeah, exactly. You and I are on the same page. Like,
You're
um,
charging people, bro. We not the same.
I am not sure. It's optional. I'm just turning the iPad around, bro. I'm just turning it around.
That's just nuts, man. That's just so crazy. Why? Why? Okay, let me ask you this. Why? Like, what's the need for the money? Because you can get money any type of way.
I think for me, it's like word of mouth. Okay, it's a similar reason as to why some okay. There's this guy that can give you back the ability to walk, right? And let's say
Mm-hmm.
they're on they've been on a wheelchair basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
There's like what 18 more guys that I got to like do this with. It's just a good like adding, but you got to give them like $200. I feel will help control the flow of it.
Bro said, I don't want too many people asking for my help.
No, it's a way to manage. Okay, so you're telling me like 30 million requests pile up. You're
I
just
guess I'm healing 30 million people. What?
you're
Hello?
just marathoning it, huh?
Like, bro, it's not like I even have to be the one to do it all the time. Like, I'll just make the double. Like Mahito literally did. All right, bro. And then after you're done, meet me back over here. We'll merge up and we're good. Like that's all I'm saying, bro. I'm just like, and here's the thing too. The thing about this too is like I can never really get bogged down by it. Oh, everybody knows who I am. Everybody, oh, what's that? I just changed appearance completely. They'll never be able to recognize me unless I want them to. Whoa, that's
Okay.
crazy.
You know what? That's a good point. Your build is solid. Your build is solid. You have very I don't know if it's as you're going about it in a lot more benevolent way than I would. That's interesting.
I don't know, man. I just think it's like it is there was like you can be so helpful with such little input. That's the big thing, right? You can be helpful with a lot of superpowers. You can be helpful with super speed. You can be helpful with all this type of shit. it's like I can literally just like when I saw what Mahito did to Mekamaru, I feel like something clicked. I was like, wow, you could be a
Wait,
good guy
I
amongst
could make
good guys, man.
disciples. I could just rewire their brains for sorcery and just have them do stuff for me with binding vows.
What the fuck?
I
Oh
Was that
hell
not the
no,
same
bro.
conclusion you were drawing?
That that's super villain ass shit.
Oh my
When
god.
I say
I thought you
you
and
say
I were
make
on
you
the
say make
okay.
disciples, I say let people keep their free will. I just give them the ability to
Okay,
like,
I thought we were on the same page. I thought we were
walk.
on the same page. I thought we were on the same page.
Bro said make disciples,
Never
give
mind.
them
Oh my
sorcery,
god.
and force them under my will via fucking like, oh nah. I will say the only thing that I think like auto transfiguration is like problematic is it incites a sort of like twisted curiosity that I think like so if you think that a curse technique kind of like informs a personality or a personality informs a curse technique or it's like this like Ouroboros feedback loop, I can somewhat understand like a twisted like oh can you make a bad person good for example, right? But I would just not touch that shit ever. Like like I guess I like when you said that, right? My thought process when you said controlling people, I thought what if I just made like a really heinous criminal like a good person? But then I
That's
thought
what I meant, right? Because I was like,
that
I didn't mean it like. First of all, y'all saying slavery is crazy. I just meant like making them employees. It's
I
just
don't know, bro. Disciple kind of
the first of all, disciple is what I meant is like I don't know. I need somebody to like help me, do the paperwork on the money I'm collecting. I need somebody to like, help me just run my life at that point, like an assistant.
yeah.
Yo,
Listen, I'll
yo.
I'll just say
First of all,
listen, I
bro,
get it.
y'all do
I
not
get the
believe in me. Damn.
I get the inclination to. However, I've seen too many fucking like god complex pieces of media to go that far. Like personalities, like memories, both like shit like that would be a line I would be I just don't think I'd be willing to cross. Like
Mm.
I'd be willing to change physical attributes in order to heal somebody, right? But I think once we get into the like, oh, I'm trying to alter your brain chemistry. I'm trying to make a bad person a good person, or I'm trying to make you this or that, right? That's like I get it. It can be used for good. I'm not even trying to start walking down that road, bro. I'm not even trying to like Light Yagami was doing shit for good at first too, right? I'm not even trying to I don't even need to do
Bro, come
that,
on, you
bro.
telling me this is my perfect victory?
Listen, it's cool in a story. I don't want to be him. Like, like, listen, does Light an interesting character? Sure. Do I want to be fucking Light Yagami 5 years into being Kira? No, I think I'd like to just be a good person who heals people. I don't know, man. Like, and Kenjaku brings up a good point. When changing the souls of the wicked be removing their free will? Yeah, bro, I'm not smart enough for all those conversations. So I'm just gonna be like, hey,
I
man,
mean,
listen,
nah,
you snapped your leg in 400 different places. Let me fix that for you.
yeah, I mean, for me,
I just,
I just see like like, what can I really do, right? And I probably go to like some kind of, I'd set up a research plant, right? And
oh
have,
Jesus.
okay, I'm not gonna give you the full, there,
You,
okay,
I fear. Listen. Can I be honest with you? Can I be honest with you for a second? Like
mm,
something I've genuinely noticed.
uh,
I fear you're prone to be like, and I mean this with like it. I'm hyping it up, but I do mean the genuine point with like I mean it with sincerity. You are very prone to be an anime
oh
antagonist,
my god,
right?
dude.
You no, 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 I mean that. Like think about like seriously recall and think about every past conversation we've had regarding powers, getting these new abilities, having like control over something that we don't have, right? And think about our differences in responses. And I mean this, right? I'm not trying to armchair therapist you, but I am. Think about the difference. Like, and I'm not even necessarily inherently saying you would take it that far. I just think you're playing with fire, and 9 times out of 10, you're gonna burn the fuck out of yourself,
I think
right?
I think for me like the ultimate goal is like to end conflict, right? But for me it's like I don't want to like waste the time getting there, the quote unquote,
And that's evil, I think.
like
Not evil, not evil, not evil. It's very because you're one person, you have your biases, you have your like all of,
true,
and that
yeah.
to me is like that, and when you start assuming because you're gifted in one area, you're gifted in all areas is where I start. That's why I'm like, listen, am I being as effective as a robot could possibly be, right? As
Yeah,
this perfect being, as this godlike creature could
yeah.
be? Probably
I think
not.
that's the difference. Yeah, right. I'm like, there's got to be like an efficient way to go about this because I feel like I don't want to waste time about it. Like if I have the abilities, every person like the longer I take doing this, like the more people suffer in the interim while I make up my mind. And I feel like that's doing a fundamental disservice.
I think I think the problem is like, and we've talked about your arrogance
Oh my
before.
god.
That's that. That's that. And I mean that. And I mean that. And I mean that. Right? Like like because I think some fiction does it well, some fiction does it kind of cornily, right? Cornily? I whatever. We'll say that's a word. Some fiction does like you can't make those decisions, blah blah blah. Like, if you decide who's able to live and die, you'll be as bad as they are, right? In some instances, I think that's pretty corny. But in other contexts, I do think there is something very valid in saying, like, hey, listen, you may be right about this person, right? You may be right about, like, hey, does the Joker need to be put down? Sure, 100%. Like, I think every logical person would agree. Every not morally dubious person would agree. I think the issue at the heart of like Batman stories, and I think what it's trying to get, sometimes it executes it poorly, but the heart of what it's trying to get in stories like that is, who the fuck are you to decide individually, right? Like, outside of the context of all of these laws or these like moral frameworks, who are you to decide the value of a life, right? And that's like, who are you to decide the value of like this thing that you are yourself, right? You're like one human deciding another human's fate and shit like that. And like, listen, maybe you can, right? Maybe you're just different like that. Do I think so? Fuck no. But maybe you are. Me personally, I'm going
Okay.
to stick to what I know I can
Can
stand
I
on
offer a
100% of
little
the time.
can I offer a little like it's not a disagreement, it's just like a little counter, right? You know the
Hmm.
whole Spider-Man great power great responsibility things
Yeah.
quote, right? So if he didn't have Spider-Man powers and he had like Gojo powers or Superman powers, right?
Hmm.
You would agree that the scope of that responsibility becomes much more broad than it would be for
Yeah.
somebody with Spider-Man powers, right?
Hmm.
So my
Yeah.
thing is at like whatever point action you're taking, right? The only thing that really changes is the number of people affected directly, or the amount of people that you can affect directly at like at any point in time, or like the scope of your change.
Hmm.
But your right, like your right to act or your call to action, is still fundamentally there.
Hmm.
But it's only ever really questioned when the power goes up. So
Hmm.
what is there like the arguments about Spider-Man being a menace, the arguments about Spider-Man, taking the law into his own hands or whatever,
Hmm.
does not make you think Spider-Man is like bad, right?
No.
Like what he's doing is like the best he can do, right? However,
Hmm.
if you saw Superman doing Spider-Man level activities, you'd be like, seems like a waste of your talents, man. Like what are you
But
doing? Get up.
I disagree because Superman does it all the time, right? You look at like the Injustice comic, right?
Mm.
Superman forces peace on the world, right? And like
That came from a bad like that came from
I'm
such a
not saying you're no,
negative,
listen,
yeah.
I'm not saying you're Injustice Superman, right? Because I think he like kind of goes about it in a very dumb way, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there is very much a totalitarian sort of like my way or the highway. Like, okay, and I mean this genuinely. Do you seriously think politically and intellectually you are the smartest and most like divine human being to decide how things are?
No, but neither are like real human beings in places of power now,
And
you
that's
know?
why there are checks. And first of all, I would say aiming to be like them is aiming for failure.
No,
That's
no,
the
no.
first
No, I'm
thing. A
not
lot
saying
of the
I'm
times.
aiming to be like them. I'm saying like they
And the second thing is they listen. There are checks and balances, at least theoretic ones, like theoretical ones, like whether they're
not for
active. That's up
certain
for.
like my point is, right? It like on a worldwide stage things get infinitely more complicated and I feel like how do I phrase this? If you have the power to act, you should. Um it
I agree.
right?
Yeah, okay.
I guess I'm just like in a little bit more of a hurry about it than you are.
I think that hastiness can lead you to make decisions that aren't entirely like well thought out, right? Like, what are the
Oh
consequences
God,
of like
Jesus.
fundamentally
Hold on, bro.
changing a what's a
Why does this sound like a conversation between the protagonist and the antagonist? Why am I
I don't
doing this to
listen,
myself,
bro.
bro?
It's
Like, what
interesting.
is
It's
going on?
interesting though. Like it's interesting. If you genuinely think it, and I genuinely think it, it's interesting. Like it's fine. Like neither of us have this ability. It's not like there are any stakes behind it. It is just an interesting conversation.
I know.
And the
Yeah.
reason I kind of like I just believe what I believe is because like I think there are so many good people or well-intentioned people who want to change the world or end conflict, or like someone brought up Yuha earlier, right? He plans to erase the concept of
He was
death, right?
lying about he
No, he
wasn't lying
wasn't.
about
He
that. No,
we
no, sorry. He was lying about like okay, his care for his uh
but
Jesus,
that's all
the
it
stern
means to an end.
rhetoric.
Who cares,
Yes.
right? Like let's weigh that, right? Let's weigh that. And you and like in the grand scheme of things, would you not, if you were to with no other consequences, you have to lie to everybody you know and love, but now death and like pain will cease to exist. Like,
Okay,
bro,
but
call me.
the whole I don't know if
I'm
it
a
was like the whole
pathological liar.
okay, the whole point of Bleach, as far as like that, Yuha's thing and like the whole courage and progress thing, at least like from my reading, with the light, excuse me, with the light novels, is that the Soul Reapers just sort of arbitrarily decided progress was good, and that's how the framework of the universe should be, right? That's why they did that to the Soul King. That's why Bleach exists in the way it does, right? Yuha just disagreed and wanted to do something alternatively and reset it back to the way it was. And that was just stated as like another thing he arbitrarily decided, right? There is no
Mhm.
inherent like right or wrong about these things. It's just sort of the Soul Reapers had the power to do it, so they did it. Yuha had the power to do it, and he was in the process of doing it. But Ichigo stopped him with his own power. Like it's such a
Isn't
like
isn't the dismemberment of the Soul King like known as the
great sin.
greatest
Yes,
sin or some shit like that?
yes.
Like, how are you gonna say there's no moral
No, no.
like
What I mean is,
sort of like argument
okay.
there?
The moral argument, like by Bleach existing in the way it does, is like Ichigo stops Yuha and maintains the sin, right? So like, the Jesus, that's why the Soul Reapers to me are like inherently villainous in that sense because they're dishonest about the fact that their decision, their view of the world is arbitrarily self not self congratulating but self fulfilling.
Self-aggrandizing, like
Yeah,
almost.
it's just they decided it. They want to maintain it. They're fighting to maintain their status quo, but it's not presented that way directly. And Yuha just he was like a little villainous about his execution. So that's why it didn't land the way it did. But for somebody like Aizen, right, the goat, he
Mm.
saw through that, and that's the thing I mean, right? Like there you can argue about like the who are you to do this thing, but you can ask that to like real people now, and the only I guess you're unless you want to get rid of everybody, right? Unless you want to get rid of every living creature, you're still going to be open to the same criticism regardless of what you do or don't do, especially if people know of you, especially if you have this power and they know of it. Like the most you can do at that point, almost burdened with that responsibility, is just something, right? The only person
Sure.
you have at that point is yourself. You like at some point it's all going to blend together and you just have to do like what you have to do or like what you want to do.
And I agree, and that's what everybody does all the time, right? But like what I'm saying is there are certain lines where in which are crossed where you are now like you are presuming that you have more ability than you do, and now you're starting to step into the territory of affecting things more negatively than positively, right? Most people don't think that their actions are bad. Like I think most people genuinely look at themselves in the mirror and like I either am neutral or do good things, right? But that's not always the
Mm-hmm.
case. That's not always true. And when I say like you start like in these scenarios, right, in these hypotheticals, you take things to their I'll say logical extreme, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I the point is not that you do things because you think they're right. The point is like I think the like the ego or the confidence, we'll say, like to put it a little bit more nicely, right, is just placed because of like ability rather than like any sort of qualifications or like continuous checks and balances or system in which you can put in place to really make sure that you're doing the right thing, right? Like let's take Spider-Man, right? He goes out, if he, he fucks up badly, he starts like he goes off the deep end, right? Whether he looks at it this way or not, the Avengers can get on his ass in seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are beings that can chin check the fuck out of him. With Batman, the way he looks at the Justice League and Superman and Wonder and all of that shit, right? He has shit that can chin check the fuck out of them, specifically because while their intentions may be good, you have to be very, 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 very careful to not take that too far, because if not,
There's
right,
like
if you start throwing around that weight and that power and that like whatever willy-nilly, you start like lines that should be blurred get blurred, right? Or lines that shouldn't be blurred get blurred. You start pushing things further and further, right? Like it's the same thing with light. Okay, I killed a person, cool. Okay, I killed this criminal. Okay, but what is a criminal really? Like jaywalking's technically a crime, right? Or what about people that are trying to get in the way of my like divine justice? They're technically criminals too, because blah 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 blah. And it's like you don't notice it, but you baby step your way to this fucking cliff in a way that like, and then one day you just wake up and you're at the bottom of it, right? And you're like, oh shit, I'm evil. Like you were good. You were a good person, but you pushed it and you pushed it and you pushed it. And in those individual steps, you weren't necessarily doing anything wrong, right? Okay, healing people is the first step. That's cool. That's whatever, right? But then you're like, but what about why don't I just start preventing people from doing bad things? Okay, cool. That's the next step. And then you're like, okay, what if I like force this will onto people so that they start preventing other people to do bad things and they actively go and try to heal people too? And it's like you start pushing and pushing and pushing until one day you look up and it's like, holy shit, I am the final antagonist in a shonen series. That's crazy, right? Like that's why I don't look at your fucking, like, I don't look at your response to these hypotheticals as like and by the way, I don't think any of them are worrying because they're just hypotheticals, right?
mm-hmm.
But like, I'll use the word worrying because I can't think of anything else. I don't look at your responses to hypotheticals as worrying because like your moral framework is fucked. I look at it as worrying in quotations because the trigger finger to jump from level 1 to level 20 is like, okay, and that's why I say you have the proneness to be a supervillain. You have the like flexibility in your perspective on yourself relative to other people to jump right the fuck off the deep end and be like, okay, fuck y'all, I know what's best for you guys. Let's do it my way. That's how I look at it. That's how I observe it. I don't know. BR should have had this combo with Ghetto instead of Yuki. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, this is what I mean, right? I was gonna call you Ghetto is crazy with the undertones, bro. With the undertones, I didn't mean that. Let's see. I can't use a Naruto character. I mean, I guess Aizen's pretty good, right? To me, Aizen is like you use him as an example of seeing through that, right? Okay, seeing through it's great and all, but like, what happens when Aizen is like at the end of the day a person who's like lonely and wants shit and is not doing this for the oh so moral reasons that he says,
I mean,
and
he's
at least
canonically
entirely,
not. Yeah, like the thing about
he's the person that like he's not able to see through everything, right? He's a fallible, I won't say human, but a soul reaper in the same way that you and I are, right?
but
Like,
he's okay.
yes,
Aizen is a contradiction in that this is getting into like Aizen character analysis stuff. So like I'll just try to keep it on track, right? The whole like bit with Aizen, right? That it's like the tragedy of who he is as like a being, an organism, and like as a person or soul reaper, like you said, is that he is simultaneously like longing for this like answer to his loneliness, because his power like makes him so lonely and blah blah blah. It folds in on each other, right? But the problem is Aizen can't help but be exceptional. So even this like stupid like almost made up reason for why he's doing what he does to mask his quest for companionship happens to be true, and it's this weird thing where like Aizen is almost forced to live in this ivory tower by himself because he's almost incomprehensibly like stronger on a different level, even more than he knows about himself, if that makes sense. Like
Sure.
it's such a
But the problem is that like Aizen's sort of like way of going about things produces like, okay, if he was better, right, entirely in his
mhm,
entire existence, he would have accomplished his goal. He would have toppled everything, but he wasn't, right?
mhm,
He was not inferior to any individual, but he was inferior to the people he looked down on collectively, right?
mhm,
Aizen presumed he was better because he was better in some instances, right? But he
mhm,
wasn't a superior creature, like that transcendence and things like that. Like, okay, from a like an objective power feeling sense, sure, right? But
mhm.
at the end of the day, he had the character flaw, not the character flaw, but he had the like quote unquote weakness of desiring that companionship. He wanted to lose almost as much as he wanted to like
Mm-hmm.
topple and get rid of
Yeah.
that thing,
And
right?
and
And
the
I
thing
say,
is, right, like it's weird because Aizen's power almost like betrays this because it grants his wish simultaneously, like both of these wishes at the same time. So he's just
mhm.
in this weird limbo state of being simultaneously obscenely powerful and obscenely lonely while not being able to progress.
Yeah, and to me, Eisen's a great example of like my point because I just asked this to you, right? Can you look at yourself in the mirror and confidently say, right, I have no underlying subconscious like flaws or like things that can steer me in the wrong direction or paint my
I
perspective on
do.
things in
I
a
do.
way
No, I
that could
100% do,
ruin shit
right?
in a poor like that's what I'm
Okay, so
saying.
here's my thing, right? I 100% do. My only thing would be like, but I have to do something, right? Like if I have the power, like I can't exist in this weird like stasis of just I can't have the power and do nothing in the same way that like you know what I mean? I might as well not have the powers at all, right? So that's
Sure.
kind of what I mean, right? There needs to be something to do with them. So for me, it's
Hmm.
like what I need to act in like a way that I am most comfortable with, and then just kind of push forward and just sort of
Uh,
deal with the consequences of my actions. I don't know. Because the alternative
yeah,
is
I
like
mean, it's
it's almost like the Peter Parker effect of like, well, I could have done something there, you know, like
but it's like paper does bring up a good point. You don't have to do anything, right? Like, and like great power comes great responsibility and things blah 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 blah, right? And I think if you can, you should, right?
mm,
But you should also act within your means, right?
mm,
Like in the same way. Okay, so yes, you should do things, but like just because you have the power to affect the world doesn't mean that you creams or me Ronan the people have the mental capacity to do so, right? We may, idle transfiguration may be a technique that can work on a planetary scale, but me and you, we may only have like a city or a state's worth of like mental capacity to really think through our actions, really go through things and do good work consistently and confidently, right? Hey, we it's very possible and even reasonable to be like, hey, I get that this could technically go this far. I also know myself that, hey, if I take it past this many people or this large of an area, right, I will start messing up in ways that are unacceptable and potentially unfixable, right? So if I just have to make the lives of 10,000 people better on a regular basis, that is 10,000 people's lives that are improved. Whereas before, you've done an objectively good thing. Wanting more and more and more and more and doing more and more and more and more and more, right? Because you think you can is like, it's hubris. That's just like by definition what it is, right?
mm.
Like, because you're you, you have to do more is like, well, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, and I mean that like, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. You could flip that back on me, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
the fuck do I think I am? Like, if I'm only mentally capable of saving 10 people, right? Or like you let's use Ichigo, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, listen, man, I'm not Superman. I don't want to like I can't save the whole world, but I also am not so like easily satisfied as to just
Right,
save the people I can hold in my
but
arms.
that's what
I
I
just
mean,
want to
right?
save
Like that is
everyone
him
that I
making that
can.
decision for himself, right?
Hmm.
Like Ichigo chose that limitation for him, not even limitation, but that border for himself, right? That line. And
Hmm.
that's something he chose after careful consideration of his own wants and desires. And like shit, bro. Like that's the only thing you can control. So whether or not like if you have Ichigo's powers, you can set a completely different bar and just have as much legitimacy to it as Ichigo deciding that that was his, right? You can just be like, nah, a country. I'll stop at a country, right? One country, no more, no less. I'll define the borders for myself on like randomly on a map because I can just do it, right? And that's where I'll stop.
And you better make sure you're as competent as Ichigo as saving the people that he decided to
Yeah,
save.
and
Like
that's the
that's
thing.
the price
There's
that
no
comes with
yeah,
it.
exactly. And there's no way of knowing that, but like at that point, like at Ichigo's point or at your point, right? The only way that you know is trying and failing or succeeding. So that you can't know until you like do the action.
But knowing is like, okay, you say like, okay, trial and error is fine when it affects you. Trial and error with other people's lives is like, it's called human experimentation, and that's a big no-no, right? You don't, and when I say you don't get to, I mean people like generally don't get to just toy. Like imagine for a second, right? A scientist is like, hey man, listen, I won't know if this works unless I test it on a person. Right? That's not how shit works. You have to go through the proper steps to get that done. First, you test it on a rat. You test it on 1,000 rats. You test it on 1,000,000 rats. You document that. You prove with 0 or with 100% or as close to 100% certainty as possible that this should work on these people. Then you go to willing human participants, right? And then you go further and you stutter step it. No scientist worth their shit says, hey, I think I created the cure for cancer. I'm going to now inject some random person and force my idea of what works onto them. And if I fail, whoops, I killed somebody, right? You have to prove that it works. You have to like,
So like
you have
we'll
to
baby step it, right? And like whenever I hit a limit, I'll hit a limit. I'm not going off rip like immediately, but I'm not gonna be how do I say this? Being a turtle about it isn't the way either. I feel like obviously my sense of competency, my sense of ability will affect the timeline, but it's not something I wanna sit on.
listen, man. People that are impatient very often are the
Okay,
ones that make
so
those
let
mistakes.
me ask you something, right?
Mhm.
At like, what's your timeline for Idol Transfiguration? Jesus Ronin.
Hold on one second.
Damn. I was trying to think of like puns for Broken Ronin and Jesus, and I couldn't think of any before I asked him. So if y'all got some funny ones, like throw them in chat because I am just thinking on my feet here.
I'm back.
Welcome back. We missed you.
Yeah, what up? What up?
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
talking.
I mean, you just stay in your community. Like, I'd probably be like, hey, listen, first, let's make sure that I can even use it on myself properly without
Mhm.
fail, right?
And you're probably
Okay, if
gonna
I
do
injure
some.
myself here,
Yeah, you're
and
probably gonna do some
I'm
funny
gonna
ass
mess up.
things. Yeah, bro. Like,
Yeah, and if I mess up, and it's like, okay, I need my like, because now if I feel I'm the consequence, cool, right? Then
mhm.
hey, brother, you mess something up. Listen, I'm gonna let you in on a secret, right? I can heal you. I've had this power for like 2 weeks though. All right.
So your mileage
Do
may
you want to
vary.
trust me or
Yeah.
not? Right? I'll show you right now. I'll break my finger, heal it back. Cool. You see that it worked? Cool. Do you want to let me try? Yes or no? Feel no pressure. Or let me even back up from that. Let me go to a pound or something, bro. Oh,
Mm.
let me adopt a dog. Cool. Hey, buddy, you got 3 legs instead of 4. Oh, your owner was crazy hitting you and stuff. Okay, I got you. Let me help out, or let me go even smaller than that. Damn. Let me
Okay.
go. Let me go
So
to New York real
you
quick.
want
Let me
to?
see. Let me
Okay.
see a New York rat.
Okay. So you want to do trial and error. Okay. Okay. Uh, Fine. So if I was to just extend my timeline, right? Like slow down a little
Because you have
bit,
idle transfiguration, you can
right?
you can make it so you can live longer if you
Okay.
feel like you're that vital. You have time. You have decades. You have centuries if you need
Okay.
to extend
Okay.
your soul that
So
long.
I think we've reached some kind of like point of agreement because I feel like that is something I can adjust that. Like the motivation behind it, I feel is sound, but
Mm.
if it's just about doing it safely and cautiously, that's something I want to maintain, obviously, right? Because if I don't do that, it
Mhm.
fundamentally defeats my goal here. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think if it, I think if slowing down is the ask, I'm more than willing and able to like give it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Did we just fucking agree? Was that what
Yeah,
just happened?
sick
Okay.
man.
Cool.
You
This
know,
is so different
yeah,
than like an actual anime
I
conflict.
know,
It's
my
just like, no,
God.
man, no, we just agree. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, I know,
Let's
right?
do
Like,
it.
like it doesn't end with like, oh, but no,
Yeah,
I gotta
no.
burn down 3 orphanages.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, no, we could just okay, cool. Let's just
It's
slow and
sick,
steady,
yeah.
man. Like yeah, okay, cool.
Bro, I
Let's
can't
go.
wait for like the shonen manga to like break ground. Like the first one to be like, oh wait, okay, it just seems like we reached a
Did
natural
we did we
compromise.
just
Yeah.
did we just talk this out? Did we just talk this out?
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes that happens. Like it happens in some series, but like usually it's after some like
Yeah.
really heinous. But like imagine talking about it beforehand. Like, oh damn, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, no, we talked about it before you made any rash decisions.
It's
Cool.
like I feel like if like Ichigo and Aizen had that conversation at length at the beginning, right? Like with
Yeah.
Aizen's like inner thing too, he'd be like, wait, give me a second. Or Hari, he was making some great points, man. Like I don't know, maybe you're the problem.
Yeah, damn. Okay, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let's. I mean,
It's just
like
because like
this is so fun. This
yeah.
is so funny, bro. We just literally said, yeah, okay. I think we're good.
Hey, you know,
I did. Oh man, that's actually very funny
yeah. I mean, if we
to
both,
like have all of that
yeah,
conversation and be like, no, I mean,
yeah,
yeah, just
we got there. Yeah,
safe. Like
like it.
it's better to be safe and get something
I
meaningfully
agree.
good
Yeah.
done than like rush it. Okay, cool.
So
Yeah.
if we ever get those superpowers, we already
Yeah,
like went through the
like we
protocol.
confer.
Yeah.
Let's make sure. Okay, cool. Other one keeps the other person accountable.
Yeah.
Make sure we're making
Communication is key.
progress, but
Yeah.
not being hasty. Like yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
okay.
Communication is key,
Damn.
guys. Yeah. Um.
I feel like we should end it there, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I don't
Yeah.
know if we could peak higher than that
Yeah.
today.
No, that was a crazy one. Wow. Didn't even notice the
Yeah,
time going by.
yeah.
My God, it's been.
Holy.
Whoa. I just looked at the timestamp. It's been almost 3 hours. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
bro. Holy shit. Yeah. Damn. Huh.
Um.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Thank
great.
you
Thank you
guys.
guys for coming out. Appreciate you. We hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed
Hope
that.
you guys enjoyed that. Yeah. Hope that was fun because it was fun to talk about. So I hope that was fun for you guys. Yeah, thank you guys for coming out. For all the people that donated, appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the members. Thank you guys.
Oh,
I guess we can just
yeah.
quickly talk about the poll real quick
Yeah,
before
yeah.
we
Let's
pop out. But yeah.
So yeah, I almost forgot about the poll. Okay, so with 69 votes, let me oh my God, let me post it up on chat for you and everybody to see. Polling is officially closed as of me posting this. Let's see if I can make this work somehow because
Oh, hold on, let me see. Were y'all posted super chats on that? I might have forgotten. Hold on, let's see. Let me see. I forgot you guys actually were talking during that. I was very focused. Okay, so while you do that, let me read the supers. Action Double EO, thank you for the 2. Cream's is going to have a cure arc. Yeah, that was probably said pretty early on. Sleeping Danger, thank you for the 14. Cream's playing too much P5. Bro trying to change hearts. Yeah, probably early on in the combo
look,
too.
bro, if we're talking, you don't want to go there with me right now, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the Demon Akatsuwa, thank you for the 2. This convo is the Sato Sugu KFC breakup.
Okay.
There probably was a point where we were just fucking going back and forth about you can't do this, you can't do that, whatever. So fair enough, bro. Fair enough.
Oh my God, man. Okay. I think I am sort of figuring out how to do this. This is a different computer. Man, it is taking forever. Oh wait, I have a great idea. Oh my God, why didn't I just think of this? Hold on, chat. I'm a genius. Y'all are not ready to see me in action like this. Hold on. Y'all are gonna see me cook something fierce. All right. I'm vamping right now because I'm not sure if it'll work.
Yeah, bro, just talking. As soon as you get into those long, drawn out words, you know that someone is like they need time, bro.
Yeah.
They need time.
Okay, this did not work. My God.
Are you the strongest because you're broken running, or are you broken running because you're the strongest? Mikey said he might have to do like a mini manga with using the voice lines. I'm not gonna lie, I wonder how hard that'd be. That should be kind of gas. I'm not gonna lie to you. There were probably a couple of bars in there. There were probably a couple of bars dropped on each side that can make for
Yeah.
just a cool little interaction.
Okay. Chat, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have no idea how to make this work.
Yeah, bro. Just send me the screenshot and then let's talk about it real quick and then we could close out. Bro.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
'cause
stop trying, bro.
is-
Trying to use new technological things
Yeah.
right now. Nah.
This was okay. Here we go. So 69 votes. Dorohedoro sweeped. Insane.
Yeah.
I just
I think the past tense would be swept. No, I'm joking. But yeah, Eden Zero, you lost. You have failed this city.
yeah.
So you are not going. You failed. You failed,
Bro,
unfortunately. Doro
seven.
Doro.
Just you can't be runner up 7 times in a row. You know what this is?
Yeah,
This
that's just
is
not a good look.
this is one of those always a bridesmaid, never a bride kind of moments for Eden Zero right here.
Damn, bro called him Vegeta. That's sick.
Vegeta's
Um,
married with kids. What are you talking about?
no, I mean the always being
Oh,
number two,
two,
always
yeah.
being runner up, never
I
being
mean,
the greatest.
shout out Eden Zero for being the Vegeta of the Honored Ones book club polls for some reason.
Yeah. Well, all Eden Zero fans, I genuinely feel bad for y'all, because man,
I
that
mean,
is not a fate I'd worse on my favorite manga. But
y'all
I mean,
gotta
y'all just had to come out in stronger forces, man. I don't know what to tell y'all.
all y'all gotta have a group meeting or something to like talk about this. Because me personally, I think the problem is just like you need to have a chat with the other members. See where
Yeah,
y'all
yeah,
are not
yeah.
aligned.
Y'all gotta lock in.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
Dora is what we'll be reading. We'll be jumping into that next week. For all the members, expect another Thursday episode from us, so that should be fun. But yeah, this was really interesting, weirdly in depth and passionate conversation about powers and the nature of responsibility. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
thanks for
hosted by
sticking around
us.
for that. If you
Yeah.
guys did, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thanks
We'll
for
see
coming out,
all of you
guys.
guys.
Yeah.